2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Seeing an overwhelming desire for Perloff to show off the leggings. In fact,
that's weird. Is it some sort of technical difficulty?
We'll see if there's any kind of glitch. Someone said leggings should not be in a man's wardrobe.
Performance pants.
See, that doesn't sound right either.
Yeah, I don't know. By the way,
sound like don't take Viagra. Just have these performance
pants from Romans. No,
they're sent to you in a discreet package.
Yeah.
What kind of package?
Medium, size, small.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
Oh, what up, what up? Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. So glad to have you on this Thursday. We're getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl, but you know who's not getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl? You can say who, Maggie?
Wait, who?
The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys aren't getting any closer to a Super Bowl. And
I'm not going to set you up to dunk on the Cowboys today. It's Super Bowl week. How could the Cowboys catch a stray?
Well, they are, because Jerry's, again, found another microphone, because there isn't one on earth that he won't speak into. And this is like no hyperbole. This is not just radio show stuff. If I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, hearing Jerry Jones's comments today, or yesterday, I guess, at the Senior Bowl, this is the saddest I would be to date. This is the no hope for you. And I'm sorry to say that, because I'm someone who thought that this roster was really good. And, you know, I think that there is a lot of promise for this team. And I'm not a Jerry Jones, like, hater or someone who thinks that he's just a clown or something like that. But if he's being honest here, this is as low as I think it gets as a Cowboy fan.
I'm reluctant, even though by nature I'm a wildcatter. Anybody that thinks I won't take a chance has misread the tea leaves. But I do think longer term, and I'm real hesitant to bet it all for a year.
Boom. I mean, you're not even thinking that way, right? And I get it. If you're the owner of the team and you're the general manager, you're going to be here as an owner for the team. You're never getting fired. You only want the team to keep growing. So I guess being mediocre to good is good enough because you want the sustained, keeping people in, drawing them in, thinking there's a chance, but they're not willing to go the extra mile even if they feel like they have a team that's ready to win.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on what you're saying.
Yeah.
You want Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, to be more impulsive. This is the guy who they physically had to hold back from drafting Johnny Manziel, who's never loved a splash move or seen a splash move he didn't love. Jerry, if it was up to Jerry, he would have an all-pro team every year and be in dead cap space for the next 25 years. The fact that people are able to hold him back and build a team that is going to be able to contend every year is a miracle, and I think a good miracle for the Cowboys. Because if Jerry had his way, they would probably be the most bloated team on earth and 5-12.
Listen, 7 teams in each conference make the playoffs. It shouldn't be that hard just to make the playoffs if you have a quarterback you're paying $40 million, so obviously he's good enough, and you have good skill position players, and you've got some real talent on the team. What happens, though, when you feel like you're close? That doesn't mean that you have to, completely shoot everything into the sun, but it does mean you have to take some bigger risks. You do have to take some bigger flyers. Like
signing Odell Beckham Jr., which Jerry desperately wanted to do, even though Odell couldn't play football.
No, Jerry only wanted to say he wanted to sign Odell.
Oh, get out of here. You don't think he wanted to sign Odell Beckham Jr.?
Honestly, though, it's a non-starter because Odell was never going to play.
He wanted him in that building just to hang out with him.
He can do that next year.
And that's the kind of thing Jerry Jones does. Jerry Jones has to be held back to stay in the middle because he wants to make big flash moves that make no sense. That's always been his MO.
Okay, but what is it recently? Because
it's been a great team-building process. I think we should be complimenting for some of the moves that Jerry Jones has made in the last 5 years. He overpaid Zeke and he overpaid Dak. But he did draft Micah Parsons. He did draft Trayvon Diggs.
Yep.
He's got excellent players all over his roster. I think that's good team building. He's won 12 games two years in a row. That's not bad team building.
12 games 2 years in a row. And Andrew Perloff, can you name for me the last time that the Dallas Cowboys went to the playoffs in back-to-back years?
Before no, I'm not sure.
2005, 2006. Can you name the time before that when they went to the playoffs in back-to-back years?
The championship years, I imagine.
Nope. 98, 99. Troy Aikman was still the quarterback.
So you're saying that they finally figured it out?
No. You're saying that they're have all this sustained success, and I'm telling you that's a myth.
Well, I'm saying now they do because Jerry has been constrained going back to 2015.
Was in the draft in 2014. Right. It's been almost 10 years.
Jerry has changed his tone and has been more reasonable of late. I'm telling you, he's built a really good young team, and they're going to be really good for a while now because they have Micah Parsons.
Okay, so they're going to be really good for a while.
Yeah, and guess what? They're going to be in the tournament. They'll definitely be the favorite in the NFC East next year.
The Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but as Jerry,
what are you talking about?
As Jerry rightfully pointed out, they're all in for this year, but everybody's gone next year. They're losing half their team.
You have 2 first-round picks next year, and you have a quarterback who's on a rookie deal still.
You don't think the Cowboys are going to be favored over the Eagles next year? The Eagles lose. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham.
Nope, Brandon Graham wants to play.
He's not playing in Philly.
Okay.
James Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson,
Look at
Jason Kelsey, maybe Lane Johnson, Miles Sanders. That whole team's going away. So what? They have a bunch of rookies that they're going to throw in there? They're not going to help next year.
They won't be rookies next year. And Howie Roseman has been one of the good team builders. The fact that the Eagles are a team that looks like they're all in for this year and still has a top 10 draft pick next year because you fleeced the New Orleans Saints. That's not the Rams.
I'm telling you right now.
The cupboard's bare.
It's definitely the Rams. They're going to lose more than the Rams lost by a lot.
Okay, well,
they're going to lose 9 starting players.
Okay, put your Eagles fandom aside.
No. But they're definitely losing a lot more than the Rams lost, just on paper.
So here's the thing, though. This is why if I'm a Cowboys fan, though, I'm ticked off today, and I feel like, or not even ticked off. This is kind of like the realization sort of setting in, which is you're always going to have a good team. And Jerry's good enough for you to just have a good team.
Jerry wants a Super Bowl worse than anybody. You don't think he sits in that? Oh, my gosh. You think that he's just trying to keep the Cowboys relevant? He goes into that owner's room, and it must kill him to watch other owners having won the Lombardi trophy. Kills him. I think of the 32 owners, he wants a Super Bowl worse than any single one of them.
If we had Jerry Jones here sitting in our studio, and we gave him truth serum, said, Jerry, you can either win a Super Bowl or you can never make another public appearance again as long as you live. You have to be just a rich person in obscurity, and you can never talk into another microphone or do another interview.
You gave him one more Super Bowl. Lombardi next year.
I said you can win one, or you can never talk into a camera ever again.
At 80 years old, he would take the one Super Bowl because he wants to
You're not paying attention to what Jerry Jones is.
He's 80.
So he's got to.
He's so desperate to win that Lombardi trophy. He wants it so bad. No owner takes a loss worse than Jerry. You see him after these losses. He's a fan. He's a gigantic fan.
I watched John Mara throw a chair once in a suite.
John Mara, the anonymous Giants owner, and the team that's been awful for 15 years.
But you can't say he doesn't care. I literally watched like a 70-year-old dude throw a chair in an owner's box.
Oh, John Mara, what, did his Grey Poupon run out? Forget John Mara.
What do you think? Jerry's doing the draft from a yacht. Who's like the more hoity-toity rich person?
Jerry defines himself by those trophies. And I know you're saying this idea that he just wants to be good. He started out with Lombardi trophies, and he's always wanted to get back. He's so hungry for that, and I think he hates not winning. I'm sure he does. I know as a fact he does.
Jerry might hate losing.
He thinks he's the smartest guy in that owner's room.
Probably.
By far. And this kills him.
Jerry also has already gotten into the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Check that box off. He has the most valuable franchise in North America. Who's more? Maybe the Yankees?
I think in the world now. I think they passed.
I don't know about like Man United.
I think he was listed as number 1 this year on Forbes.
I mean, he's gotten all that just by this team being good. They don't even have to be great. And that's where if it's me, I'm just saying if I'm the fan of the Cowboys, that takes me off. Because it's what I always knew, like in the back of my mind. It's what I always knew is that I have a GM who can't be fired. So I have somebody who is more interested in keeping the value of the franchise high. And it's so high now, I don't even know what a Super Bowl even does for the Dallas Cowboys. Like they're still going to be the most valuable franchise. And it's not that I don't think he wants to win, but he just told you he just wants to be good.
Yeah.
Not great, good.
First of all, that wasn't his motive at all with that. It's very obvious what his motive was.
What was that?
He's saying his cross-division rival, the Eagles, had to sell out everything for this 1 year, and then they're just going to fall off a cliff like the Rams did.
Okay.
So he's kind of just denigrating. He's like, well, we have a team that's built to last, and this team is going to be one and done.
Built to last? They haven't been to the NFC Championship game since 1995. Built to last, my ass.
Well,
what is that?
The trend is good. They've won 12 games 2 years in a row. You notice they have.
Fantastic. You're paying your quarterback $40 million. I hope that gets you 12 wins. And he didn't even play for 5 of those games.
They should roll the NFC East next year. They should get back.
Congrats.
No, I'm just saying they should win 13 games, be a number 1 seed, and finally beat San Francisco at home. I mean, they were pretty close this year. There was a couple plays that could have gone differently. San Francisco is a really good team.
Okay,
and they were in San Francisco, and they played them basically to even.
Do you love Nick Sirianni? You love him as a coach. I know you do. We talk about it.
I like Nick Sirianni a lot, yeah.
Brian Daboll's most likely going to win Coach of the Year.
That Coach of the Year, the one that Matt Nagy won 3 years ago?
Okay.
You think the Cowboys have any fear of the Giants?
No, I'm just saying, do you think Mike McCarthy where would you rank him amongst coaches in the NFC East?
I think if you give me the dream team of Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy, they're right there. I think they're going to. They rolled the Giants. Did they beat them twice this year? I think so.
With Cooper Rush one of the times.
Yeah, they beat him on Thanksgiving or Christmas or one of those holidays. I know because the Giants backdoor covered on me, and I was really mad about it. Those teams aren't even close right now. And I think the Cowboys are actually going to be better next season because they're going to bring in a receiver, maybe Odell. That was their big thing. They had Noah Brown was their number 2 option.
Bringing in Odell, that's...
Bring in some receiver. Bring in anybody who can catch anything.
That's not the all-in move.
Well, they're definitely going to bring in a veteran receiver, which is going to change everything, and they'll be healthier on the offensive line. I'm telling you, I'll bet you right now they are the Vegas favorite in that division because it's going to be bloody mess in Philly after the season.
The question of the day is, if you're a Cowboy fan, was that hard to hear? Jerry just told you. They just want to be good. They don't want to be great. They don't have to be. His franchise is so rich without them even winning a Super Bowl. Since 95, to not make the NFC Championship game since 95, yikes. I thought that was a big admission. What was it, yesterday at the Senior Bowl? Jerry in a baseball cap talking to the media. Casual Jerry.
I'm going the exact opposite of you. Of 32 NFL owners, there is no one more desperate to win a Super Bowl than Jerry Jones.
You're falling for it.
He defines himself by that more than any other owner. You think Jeffrey Lurie's going to going to have a near panic attack if the Eagles lose this one? No. First of all, I already won one.
Yeah, the stakes aren't as high.
You think Ziggy Wilf has as much pride as Jerry Jones? Do you think that Arthur Blank is going to lose sleep like Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones wears losses. Did you see him at the end of the San Francisco game? He's throwing things around the owner's box. He defines himself by Super Bowl trophies. No. He's already got the most valuable team. He's never going to spend any of that money. They're never going to sell the team. What does he care? That means nothing to him anymore. Do you think he cares?
Oh, my gosh. Have you ever met a rich person? 855-212. I know you have.
Do you think he cares about Steven's value in 15 years after he's dead? He could care less.
Why do you think, and how do you think billionaires become billionaires? They could have stopped at $500 million.
No.
Something keeps them going. It's the love of money.
No, the value of the Cowboys, he's already said he's going to give it to his kids. The value of the Cowboys means nothing to him at this point because he does not care if Stephen Jones is going to sell the team in 20 years. That
the
story is gone.
The value of the Cowboys is what gives him the leverage with the other owners.
Well, you know what?
That's what makes him the one owner that stands above the other owners. What else would it be? Because he's so litigious? Well, so is Dan Snyder.
I'll tell you, he never would have gotten that if he didn't have 3 championships. That's what gave him original leverage, and that's when he started to take over the league because of the titles. Yeah. And nothing would give him. If Jerry Jones,
if he really was about Super Bowls, he would have never ran Jimmy Johnson out.
Well, that was ego. But that wasn't on purpose. He didn't think when
I would never, Stu. I would never.
He didn't think when Jimmy left that he wasn't going to win another Super Bowl. He's Jerry Jones. He thought he was going to win every year. This was just a shot at the Eagles for selling out one year. I can't believe you're saying Jerry Jones he's too cautious because that is not Jerry Jones' story as a Cowboys owner.
He's telling you right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to take that risk. He doesn't want to go the all-in because he's afraid of what the backfire of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get a team that's right there that needs the push. Doesn't want to do it.
So
Won't do it.
So you're in this argument. Then anytime a team goes all in is good. Then
I think when
it's
you're
all
on
in
the
when it
doors,
works.
as a fan,
yeah.
I appreciate it if I'm close.
Yeah.
That the owner goes all in.
Right, like the Broncos last year, or the Chargers, or the Raiders, and Stu's AFC West with all those gigantic signings. That was great, right?
Okay, but here's a question: are you not later today going to give me 10 reasons why you think the Broncos are going to work?
I think they were, but I think all those offseason signings were a disaster. I think the Raiders going all in with Chandler Jones and the Chargers going all in with Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, and Denver going all in with Russell Wilson. All in fails way more than it works. Way more. Most big free agent signings are a complete bust. I think Jerry should be applauded for the way he's built this current team.
Be applauded if you're never going to win a Super Bowl. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, there you go. So a little Cowboys to start us off today. We have a lot more for you on today's show. Later on, one of the most ferocious pass rushers, outside linebackers in the NFL is going to be on this show. TJ Watt of your Pittsburgh Steelers is going to join us a little bit later on. After that, Michael Lombardi, our favorite former general manager, who will try to make sense of some of this front office and coaching news stuff that we have to get to, along with quarterbacks. So glad to have you with us right here on Maggie and Perloff. You can listen to us across the country on CBS Sports Radio. You can also hang out with us on youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Head there now. Come hang in the chat with the rest of the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers and come and have a good time. All right. Coming up, of course, your phone calls are welcome at 855-212-4227. Also, Davante Adams answering questions about Aaron Rodgers on social media. Perloff, what did he say and what does it mean for next season? We'll tell you right after this.
All righty. Do you love spending all that time on long grocery checkout lines, Maggie?
No.
I didn't think so. Get HelloFresh's chef-created recipes delivered right to your door instead.
And you can skip the trip to the grocery store. You can spend more time doing the things you love. HelloFresh now has 40 weekly recipes to choose from. More choices than ever before. Say goodbye to the recipe rut and hello to seasonal recipes packed with farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients that make getting dinner on the table easy and enjoyable.
From fit and wholesome to family-friendly and quick and easy, HelloFresh has dishes for your lifestyle and meal preference, with options to please even the pickiest eaters. Plus, it doesn't hurt that HelloFresh is cheaper than the grocery shopping and restaurant takeout. Make eating easy and exciting with America's #1 meal kit. Sign up today for 65% off plus free shipping with code SPORTSNEWS65 at HelloFresh.com/SportsNews65. That's SportsNews65. SPORTSNEWS 65 at HelloFresh.com/SportsNews65.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This NFL postseason, every Westwood One NFL broadcast streams live for free. All on the road to Super Bowl 57 in Phoenix. Catch all the action on the Odyssey app on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. It's all sponsored by AutoZone. Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone, we are starting to gear up for Arizona next week.
Yep.
I'm getting really, really excited. Obviously, you know, I feel a little bad because I have a team in there and you don't. But it'll still be fun for you, right, Maggie? I mean,
this is just like, what is it, Groundhog's Day? This is Groundhog's Day for me as a Bills fan. Super Bowl's getting played. My team's not in it.
But you don't usually co-host a show with somebody who does have a team in it.
This does make it unique.
I bet I'm
happy for you, though.
It's not that unique because really you just went through it in baseball season too.
Yeah, I've been sitting next to you as your teams just go rocket ship right to the moon, and I'm sitting here still on Earth, like twiddling my thumbs.
Listen, Villanova was in the Final Four. They're not good this year, and we got the Sixers are probably going to the finals. It is an embarrassment of riches for us Philadelphia fans. But I'll tell you right now, it's going to stink if we lose this game because Philly fans are flying high right now. We're pretty cocky, and I think we've earned it.
Yeah, I mean, Philly's having a moment right now, no doubt about that. But I thought it was funny. We'll get to Aaron Rodgers in just one moment, but you're seeing that Micah Parsons is getting all this blowback because he wished Lane Johnson good luck, and people are piling on him. So that was yesterday's story or 2 days ago. And then this morning, do we have the Julian Love? I know you need a second. Okay. We have Julian Love, who's a safety for the New York Giants, Notre Dame guy, I think. And he was talking about how Nick Sirianni is not like a great coach. He's just a lucky guy.
He's a guy who really is doing a great job because he's not getting in the way of his team. He has an experienced roster from top to bottom. He's in for a free ride right now. You guys can coach this team and they can succeed. That's what we're looking for. That's how a bulletin board right there.
That was a courtesy of our friends over at Good Morning Football. Free ride is how he put it. Nick Sirianni's just not getting in the way of this talented Eagles roster.
How would Julian Love know that? And who is Julian Love? Honestly, can you think of a more obscure player to criticize the head coach of the Eagles? Maybe if like an All-Pro or a Pro Bowler said something. I don't
know. Did he make the Pro Bowl? Like everyone in the NFL made the Pro Bowl. He might have made it. I don't think so. But
honestly, what on earth does he know about how that building works? I'm curious. He must have a friend on the team or something, because otherwise, why would he even opine on Nick Sirianni? Is this because fans don't like Nick Sirianni because he
pumping up
the crowd?
Because it looks like Samter.
But how does that mean? But what does that mean?
Yes, America's turned against him because he looks like you.
Is it Julian Love a second-year player? Like how on earth, or something like that? He's young, isn't he? Why would he know anything about how this works? It just seems like a random, arbitrary critic.
Well, I think, he's a starting safety for the New York Giants who play the Philadelphia Eagles twice a year. So maybe he's saying, listen, it's just a talented roster. You and I could be coaching the team. They're so good, it doesn't matter. He's throwing shade to Sirianni while also complimenting the Eagles' depth.
Okay, I thought it was more of thinking like the coordinators were doing all the work or something. Anyway, I think he's praising the players and just saying, listen, they'd be in the Super Bowl no matter who's coaching the team. This is a mosquito on the Eagles bandwagon. Honestly, a giant safety who's kind of a no-name, that means nothing. Yeah, I think the Eagles are feeling so good right now. I mean, Jason Kelce sets the tone. It's just a love fest with that team. It's almost like nobody can get in their way. Sirianni, I know Sirianni comes off as obnoxious, but he's a positive, rah-rah guy. You got Kelce, you got Lane Johnson, you got Jalen. Is there anyone who doesn't like Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts is, I would say, there's a couple guys who have like 100% approval rating on the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts is one of them. Brandon Graham might be another, outside of New England, of course. We have some Brandon Graham sound. He was responding to Julian Love, saying Nick Sirianni is just on a free ride.
People always got something to say when they at home, so they got some stuff to think about. So I ain't really gonna touch too much on it. I just know that Coach Sirianni is. It don't matter what he did last year with a team that nobody thought was gonna do much. He ended up getting us to the playoffs, and then that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get better. Your coach prove himself each and every day. So it's just all lip service.
I mean, I understand what he's saying there. I guess here's my thing with Philadelphia and where the Eagles are with this, right? Like, Philly is one of those cities where outside of Philly, you're not really getting a lot of Philadelphia fans. And I think you guys like it that way. Like, it's the badge of honor. This is like Boston, but you guys are a little more, well, maybe Boston's kind of angry too. But you guys are like, pride yourselves on the fact that Fred Warner's wife was like, I'm never coming back to the link, and felt like she was, disrespected there. You guys are like, well, she should have known. Like, it's her fault somehow. Like, hey, lady, don't go in wearing a San Francisco jersey. Like, it's like she did something wrong.
Definitely a badge of honor. I agree. Yeah. People in Philly love the Fred Warner story. And honestly,
so then you can understand why people would tend to pile on Philly a little bit, because no one's doing this with the Chiefs. No one's saying a word about the Chiefs.
Trust me, it's a much better position to be on the winning team and watch the losers talk about your team.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of Fred Warner. I'm sure Fred Warner was not happy about this. It makes him look like kind of a loser. And Julian Love isn't exactly in a position of strength there, ripping this team. They just lost 38-7 in the divisional round.
They got housed.
Yeah,
well, I don't know about Fred Warner. I mean, if he's sticking up for his wife, then he's not going to look like a loser.
Still, when you lose to a team, you can't say anything. You just lost 31-7 in a game. I don't want to hear from anybody associated with the team. You just walk away.
Well, but you do think it's different when it's his wife versus just Julian Love talking about the coach.
What has Fred Warner said? Nothing, I don't think. I don't think he backed his wife up, did he?
I mean,
I think he would. He might, but I don't think he's going to say anything. Fred Warner's a baller.
You think Fred Warner's going to side on the Eagles fans? Like, I think
Fred Warner is going to let his play talk, and I don't think he's the kind of guy who's going to come after the Eagles. Honestly, maybe Fred Warner did say something, but I would think, knowing him or watching him, that he'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to get them on the field." He's not going to go out in the press because once you lose, you really don't want to be ungracious. That's a bad sign. It kind of leads towards bad karma, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I understand what you're saying about Philly losing, but do you think you're right? All this criticism emboldens Philadelphia fans. They love it. The team loves it. And they're looking desperately for bulletin board material. That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah, that's.
But you're right. I mean, look at the likable guys on the team. You got Hurts. Jason Kelce is basically the mayor of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You mentioned Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. These are all very likable guys.
Did you see the story about Jason Kelce's wife? Did you guys see this?
No.
So she's really pregnant. I think this is like their third kid.
Oh, no.
No. She's a genius. She's taking her OBGYN to Phoenix.
But you can't fly at that point, though.
I think that with the doctor literally with her, it's like usually doctor's orders. I think I saw this on like the Today Show or something.
That is a true fan. That is good work.
Kylie McDevitt is going to bring her own OBGYN to the Super Bowl. I mean, this woman, give her a trophy.
Yeah. And what if she gave birth at halftime? That would be the most awesome
I hope
birth.
For her sake
and the Eagles won. That would be the greatest story for young Kelce. It's like, tell me how you were born. Oh, well, I gave birth in a cab. Oh, yeah, we were underneath the stadium at the halftime of the Super Bowl.
It doesn't have to be like that.
And my uncle and my dad were playing. That's an unbeatable story.
I know, but this is only a cool story for men. It's not awesome for the woman at all. So
you're saying that's not a sterile environment to give birth?
No. The stadium. Kylie's bringing. This is what Travis and Jason's podcast on the New Heights said. Kylie's bringing her OB because she's going to be 38 weeks pregnant at the game. This could be a Super Kelce Bowl if she has a baby at the stadium. It's officially scripted.
By the way, just being said, I didn't mean get in one of those public restrooms at the stadium. I assume they have a place to go that is a little cleaner than that. But
oh gosh,
yeah,
every option is bad if it's at the stadium. It's one thing if you're getting your ankle retaped or you got to get an MRI. It's another thing to give birth.
Owner's box, anything.
Pass the popcorn. What do you think's in the owner's box? A gurney.
I can just picture push, high five. We just got it first down. Push.
Somebody spikes something like, oh no, it's a baby.
No, this is setting up to be the greatest Eagles-related birth of all time.
Imagine if someone with like just all in Eagles face paint comes up and is like, I'm here to administer the epidural. Be like, I'm sorry, what? Is this a fan or is it the doctor? What's going on here?
Maggie in your duck costume, just show up and deliver the baby.
I couldn't handle a paper cut. Are you kidding?
If I wrote the script, this is how it worked.
I went through it once myself. I'm good.
The baby would come out, cut the umbilical cord, and the baby's first word would be "Go Birds."
Go Birds!
And that would rally the team to a fourth quarter comeback. Or, much like Talia Shire in Rocky II, she's just. Jason Kelce runs down wherever she is at half and says, "Honey, are you going to be okay without me?" And she says, "Just win. Play the sound." No one has the Rocky sound?
No, but you didn't ask for it.
You guys know at an Eagles game when Talia Shire goes on, Rocky goes, "What do you want me to do?"
Yeah.
Go out there and win. I'm getting chills everywhere, but I'm totally screwing up the line. Yeah. But Stu, if you can find that.
Like, and Stu, hit the music. Like Stu knew we were going to do this.
Come on, Stu.
Stu, you can read our minds, right?
Yeah, you know how Eagles fans think.
Do for me?
What?
Come here. Win.
The fact you have this.
What are we waiting for?
What are we waiting for? I mean, listen. Listen.
It's pretty good. Maybe I can give birth to this.
If Mrs. Kelsey says this before the game or at halftime, I think they should move the line to Eagles minus 27 points because the inspiration that you would get from this,
Then I think you also, like, if the Eagles win, boy or girl, you got to name it Jalen.
Do you remember the controversy? Maybe you don't remember in Minnesota. Only I was paying attention to this. Somehow the Eagles got control of the videos that were playing because this came on in the third quarter when there was no reason it should have come on.
The Super Bowl in Minneapolis?
The Super Bowl in Minneapolis, yeah, sorry. And yeah, for some reason, the Eagles got all their notable videos up, all their hype videos, and there were barely any of the Patriots ones.
Interesting.
And this one in particular is the big moment. In any Philly sports game, when Talia Shire says win, that's when you put your rally hat on and you get ready to go.
Is this Rocky-gate? I mean, we've had Spygate and Deflategate. This is Rocky-gate. I mean, the Patriots finally on the losing end of a cheating scandal.
I know. The one time the Patriots don't have the tapes.
What would be the Boston equivalent of that? When Matt Damon says, "How about them apples and Goodwill Hunting"? Is that the Boston version?
Yeah, right. What do they have? The guys with the muskets on the sidelines. The people who are dressed like the Patriots, but that's...
No, you need
a movie quote?
You need a movie. I mean, Goodwill Hunting, you don't do better than that for...
Yeah, you got to do... How about them apples? Or what's a good Boston pump-up? Boston pump-up movie?
How about Fever Pitch? I don't know any quotes from
that. Jimmy Fallon. Based on, as Stu knows, a book about Liverpool, right? No, it was about, what was that originally about? You guys know this book.
It was a soccer team, but I can't remember which one.
Arsenal. Sorry, it was all about Arsenal. They transported it to Fenway, but it didn't quite work. What's up good? It's got to be Goodwill Hunting.
That was a great movie, Fever Pitch.
Give me a good Boston movie act.
What's a good Boston movie?
I'm trying to think.
Oh, you know what? The Fighter.
Oh, yeah,
The Fighter is great, but I don't remember a line from it.
No, I don't remember.
It was also heartbreaking.
It was also, so incredibly sad, but...
You can go like Family Guy. That's New England-ish, Rhode Island.
Oh, Ted.
Yeah, a little Ted.
Ted. Tom Brady's appearance in Ted.
But what's the pump-up scene in Ted? That's a montage like Rocky.
When Flash Gordon comes to the party and Ted won. It's a little complicated.
Sam Jones.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they didn't play a Boston clip is probably because Boston just doesn't have one.
No, it probably doesn't.
They don't have
I think How About Them Apples is the ultimate moment.
Mm-hmm. It's a good moment. It's a great movie.
Ted is a great movie. My favorite line is one of them says, "F. Scott Fitzgerald." And the bear goes, "Well, what's your problem with Scott Fitzgerald?"
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. That went off the rails. What were we talking about? Philly?
We're talking about win. Just win. What are we waiting for?
One thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
Not again.
Win.
All right, got it.
I got to say, I got goosebumps right now.
Yeah. Make sure this is ready to go next week when we're in Phoenix. That even though
we're going to play it once a show.
Definitely on Friday. Maggie, I thought you liked the Sixers song now. You're kind of into that.
Oh, my gosh. I couldn't get it out of my head the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This one's also now going to be like in my nightmares. Because I was watching the Sixers when they were on TNT or whatever.
I know.
They played it at the end.
They played in the last few seconds of every win.
It's impossible not to groove to that one. But
76ers, everybody, clap your hands for Dr. J. I made up that lyric.
You always put Dr. J in there when he's definitely not in the song.
Andrew
Coach Cheeks is upset.
It's just so catchy.
Yeah.
Dang it.
It sounds like it could have been Schoolhouse Rock, that mid-70s version of a light song that everybody likes.
It's like when you're not sure if it's the late 70s or the early 80s, but it's going to work.
Yeah.
855-212-4227. Bravo. Stu Kovacs, ladies and gentlemen. Find all that Philly stuff on the fly. Okay. Coming up next, we will get to this. Davante Adams was answering questions from fans on social media. What could go wrong? We'll tell you in just a moment after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Perloff, this will make you feel good. The Eagles will wear their green jerseys in Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs will be dressed in white.
Why will that make me feel good?
Because they wore the same green jerseys in 52.
Oh.
When they won.
Let's go.
Karma, right?
Just win, Ack.
Don't change the karma. Exactly. 2 coaching vacancies remain. The Cardinals and Colts, and the latter reportedly close to concluding a second round of interviews and may go through a third round for a select group. Yesterday, Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn interviewed for the job. Indy, the first team of the 5 this year to have an opening after firing Frank Reich mid-season. The Pelicans had such a bright start, but it's been wiped away by this recent slide. They've dropped 9 in a row and are in danger of falling out of playoff contention. They're now 10th in the West and will take on the Mavericks tonight in Dallas. Brandon Ingram recently returned to the lineup after missing 29 games, but head coach Willie Green said the star unable to make an instant impact after the prolonged absence.
Even defensively, he's in the right spots. His rotations are on point. Once again, realistically, he's been gone for 2 months and not playing, so it just takes time, and he's working his way through it. But each game, he's gotten better and better.
The Bucks go for their 6th in a row against the Clippers. I'm Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hanging out on this Thursday. So glad to have you. So, what could go wrong? Davante Adams decides to do basically like an Ask Me Anything on Twitter yesterday. So, of course, someone with the Twitter handle Las Vegas Locally says, which neighborhood is Aaron Rodgers moving to? Ha-ha.
Ha-ha.
Davante responds, mine. Now, listen. He's not the one who's going to be making the decisions here. We know that. It made Stu smile a lot. Stu is looking for anything. But, like, he's just being funny here and stirring the pot a little bit, and he knows it's going to get some reaction. I'm sure he's fine with it. But, I don't know. I mean, is this that far-fetched? Like, if we really think the Packers are in a spot now where they want to move on, I kind of agree with a lot of people have had this sentiment out there, and I kind of agree with it. I don't think Rodgers is going to retire the same year that Brady retires.
Oh, no, Rodgers is not retiring.
And he's got $60 million on the table.
Rodgers has got a lot of Favre in him. They're going to have to drag him away from this game.
Well, I mean, Brady played until he's 46. So
anybody who talks about retirement incessantly is the last one to retire. So he'll be back. I think it makes a ton of sense. And Josh McDaniels is he needs to win now or he's fired, and he has to know that. So why wouldn't he be all in?
I think he would be. I think they could probably make the money work. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of money. They already have some cap situations. It's weird it's hard to read the Raiders because on the one hand, you have a roster that looks like it's ready to compete right now, but you just parted ways with Derek Carr, and also there was the report out there that maybe wide receivers like Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller could potentially be on the trading block. Like, it was a very weird. I feel like we're getting mixed signals here from the Raiders.
Well, that could clear some room for Rodgers and hopefully David Bakhtiari too. I mean, I don't think they need Darren Waller, obviously. If you get Rodgers and you have Davante Adams, maybe they recreate. All those veterans are going away from Green Bay. Vegas could bring them right in, right? All those guys that Aaron Rodgers was skipped for the job. I think they could transform this roster quickly to make it work with Rodgers.
Really? Because, I don't see them as being, one move. You're talking about bringing in Rodgers and his cap situation. I know you can always, extend guys and do all that stuff. But, they don't have, tons of wiggle room here. They do have that number 7 pick, which is valuable. What do you do with that? What do you use it on? Do you trade back, try to get more picks, stuff like that? I don't know. Or do they just go a little more straightforward? No thanks to Aaron Rodgers, and just take a quarterback at 7. Honestly, I feel like the Raiders could go 100 different ways. The way I would go is trading for Rodgers.
But wait, how can they draft a quarterback? Explain how that's going to work.
I'm just saying if they pass on Rodgers this year or they can't get a deal done, then I think you draft a quarterback and have him sit behind Jarrett Stidham or something.
So, does Josh McDaniels have that time?
We had Tim Brown on the show not too long ago, made some headlines because Tim Brown told us he did not want the Raiders to be going heavy after Tom Brady.
Right.
Thought that Brady was done, cooked. Well, it doesn't matter now. Brady retired yesterday. So he also said in that interview, got a little less attention at the time because the Brady thing took over and made that go viral, but he said that Josh McDaniels should be on the hot seat essentially.
Yeah.
He's the one who's going to have a lot to answer for if things go sideways next year.
Absolutely. I think also they have some older players. We've talked about this a lot. They have Max Crosby. Davante Adams is 30. He does not have a lot of time left.
Yeah, Chandler Jones.
Waller's actually a lot older than you think because it took a while to get going. Chandler Jones. Yeah, I think that they got to go veteran. And then at number 7, there's so many needs on that team. They really need defensive help. Go there.
How painful would it be, though? Are you trading the 7th overall pick for Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, shoot. I see what you're saying.
That's a little too... Is that a little too high? A little too high,
yeah,
right?
You would not... I mean, if they had to give up, what was it, 24 for Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill was in the 20s too, I don't think Rodgers, with his price tag, is worth a lot more than those guys. You're not giving up the number 7. That's not even a starter for me.
I would not do that if I were the Raiders.
No.
Yet at the same time, you do have a desperate team. I mean, are they? Stu, you tell us. Are the Raiders desperate? They smell a little desperate.
They're very desperate. They, like you guys have said, they kind of went all in the last few off seasons. A lot of older players, Chandler Jones, Davante Adams being 2 of them. Their window is kind of now, which is weird because they aren't really a complete team, but the core players, like the 5 best players, it's a win-now situation. So I think they're very desperate. And McDaniels could be on the outs if they go 5-12 or whatever this year. So I think they want a big quarterback.
Are you aware of Josh McDaniels' nickname? Because I was not aware of this until Bob put it in the chat. Josh McClown?
That might have come on my timeline a few times this season, to be honest.
It's a little better for Josh McCown, but I get it. It's still pretty good. Yeah, I mean, once you get the McClown nickname, you're basically 1 foot out the door. No, I think they need something drastic here. I think you make the big swing for Rodgers, but
you're not giving the number 7 pick for a $60 million 39-year-old quarterback. Here's the other
maybe the Packers then take some of the money. Maybe if you're going to go 7, you're like, all right, then we're gonna have to split the bill a little bit.
I think the big problem with Rodgers, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you can't do the trade till after June 1st, so he's going to miss OTAs. I mean, I guess he'll miss most of the I don't know how many OTAs, but July, the league shuts down in July. He's not going to have a lot of time, and it's a new offense. So that is a real reason. He's never run a McDaniels kind of offense.
Yeah.
So that's a real issue.
Do you think there's any way he could get his hands on a playbook? If only he knew someone on the team.
It's one thing to get hands on a playbook. It's another to run full practices.
Full reps,
I mean, the playbook, what's he going to just stare at the playbook?
I don't know.
And also, if I'm Josh McDaniels, I say, hey, Aaron, what offense have you been running? I'll learn that offense.
Yeah, maybe it's not so much like that Rodgers is going to have to cater to McDaniels' offense. Maybe it's a little the other way around. Like, hey, Aaron, what do you want to run? Let's run that.
Also, you bring up a great point. If this is a trade, we're talking about, and it will have to be a trade, then there's a market. Can the Raiders outbid the Jets or whoever? And without giving up that number 7, because that is so much capital.
So high. But then you ask yourself all right, you give up the number 7 pick. You just hope that doesn't turn into the next superstar of the league. But if you win a Super Bowl, does it matter? No. Will it matter in 5 years? No, it won't. If you win a Super Bowl, that's going to last forever.
Well, yeah. What you definitely don't want to do is trade for a quarterback, give away your first-round pick, and then have that first-round pick be a top 5 pick. Like the Denver Broncos.
Oh, yeah,
That's a worst-case scenario where you mortgage the future and you have a losing record.
But this wouldn't be the future like Russell Wilson is the future. That's a long-term deal. This would be something for Rodgers 38.
Absolutely.
You're not going to sign him to this massive deal. I'm telling you, Green Bay, they were the big winners of Tom Brady retiring.
Why is that?
Because now it's one more team that Tom is not going to be going to. Okay, if you're the Raiders, were you really thinking about Tom Brady? I mean, if so, that's off the table. Where are you going next? Derek Carr, that ship sailed. Jimmy Garoppolo, guy who can't stay healthy, is not going to be consistent enough for you.
I mean, every mock draft has the Raiders taking a quarterback.
But does that fit with this current team?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, there's an argument that probably the Raiders never thought they were getting Brady because Brady let it be known he didn't want to be on the West Coast. Yep. And also, I don't think Brady, you and I disagree. I don't think Brady was out there looking. I don't think teams were giving signals that, hey, Tom's going to be available next year. That's just my opinion. So if I ran the team, if I was a GM, I would draft a guy and start over and rebuild and say,
turn around and trade Davante Adams after you just traded for him?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, listen, you're going to have to rebuild. The team is so
Can you admit
flawed.
That big of an error?
It's not that big of an error. They gave away a 20-something pick.
No. It would be Davante. It'd be you extended Waller, you extended Renfro. Yeah. Turn around and trade them. You sign Chandler Jones. You're going to try to trade him. So all the stuff you just did, you're now going to undo.
Well, Chandler Jones. I mean, how much? I don't know if anyone's going to trade for that. That was a mistake. Yeah, they made a bunch of mistakes. There's no doubt about it.
You know our buddy Mike in California who calls in all the time? He's in the chat saying, remember when he called in with his conspiracy theory that Aaron Rodgers would end up going to the Raiders with Davante Adams, and that would be his final screw you to Green Bay. Like they've been orchestrating it all the time.
I know exactly what's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers. It's even more screw you to Green Bay.
Oh, wow. What's that?
1 year in Vegas. Then, unlike Favre, he's not going to the Vikings. What stadium does Aaron Rodgers have the most success in? And
he's not going to be a Bear.
He's going to the Bears, Maggie.
You
tell me you thought Brett Favre was going to be a Viking? He is going to be a Chicago Bear. There's no city he feels more comfortable in playing football. He'll be a Bear. And you know the Bears. I love Justin Fields, but they'll always need a quarterback. He's going to be a Chicago Bear. He's doing 1 year pit stop in Vegas. Yeah. Sorry, Stu. It's going to be a disaster. And then back to the NFC North.
Nothing that a 40-year-old quarterback would love more than playing outdoors in Chicago. 8 home games.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers has partial ownership, and there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, leave Lambeau just to go to Soldier Field.
Yeah, the dude's been playing in Lambeau forever. What does he care?
Hold on. Wait, aren't they getting a new stadium?
Yeah, but it's still outside, isn't it?
Yeah, but I thought, does it have even a partial dome? I didn't see the renderings. We got to take a look.
It's definitely, is it going to be ready in 2 years?
Better get cracking. 855-212-4CBS. Better get a shovel in the ground there. 855-212-4227. Apparently the clock is ticking on Aaron Rodgers. Okay, your phone calls always welcome. Of course, you can hang out in our YouTube chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. If you are in the chat, just asking one small favor, just hit subscribe right there. It's right next to you if you're watching us on YouTube, and it really helps us out. We would appreciate it. Of course, we have to say thank you to all of our affiliates across this great country as well. All right, coming up, more quarterback craziness, Perloff, and big question marks for one team that was so close to the Super Bowl. We'll get to that. Also in the next hour, TJ Watt will join us. Stay tuned for that as well. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio right after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I'm going to play a little armchair therapist. You have such a problem with Ken Dorsey, the Bills OC, trashing his room. That is you. You know you do not like to act like an adult when it comes to the Bills. You become a petulant child.
I couldn't do something like that. I'm a mom, guys. I'm picking up stuff. I'm not trashing it. That's the worst part.
Did you yell?
No.
Did you curse?
No. You guys know me. Head in the hands. Just
silence.
Yeah. Just my soul leaves my body for a second.
Okay, this is what I mean. It's a week 3 loss to a division opponent at the division opponent's house, and your soul left your body.
It would have left yours too. That was a crazy game. You know what? I love this. Let's turn the Bills into an underdogs, and then somehow I can trick myself into thinking the Bills are not the runaway favorite.
No, we all think that. You are the one who thinks the Jags are going to knock them out in the AFC title game.
Right,
we're all into the Bills.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
Welcome to the show. It's Thursday. We've got a lot to get to because coaches and everyone's doing a lot of press conferences, Perloff. Everyone loves press conferences.
Yeah.
I said sarcastically. But here is Kyle Shanahan. We got to play a little of this for you because Shanahan was asked about why, for the San Francisco 49ers, does it feel like, or does it appear to be, that the quarterbacks just get hurt so often?
If you looked at the injuries, common sense would answer that question. I mean, how have they gotten hurt? I mean, I'm sorry Josh got a concussion when he hit the ground. I'm sorry our quarterback got his elbow bent backwards on a normal drop-back pass. I'm sorry on a drop-back pass, someone rolled up on Jimmy's ankle. And then we have a dual-threat quarterback who got hurt running the ball. So to throw all those 4 in that category, no quarterbacks got hurt when we had to hand it off the whole second half. So I'm looking at that.
I mean, if you were wondering whether or not he hated that question, that final little bit was your indication, because he said we handed off the whole second half. Yeah, because the Eagles knew that you couldn't throw the ball. So, of course, you were handing it off. Yeah, I don't think he appreciated this question. However, there is a reality here that it's like beyond bad luck at this point, right? Every year except for one with Kyle Shanahan, he's had to use not just one quarterback, but 3.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is bad luck, it's all-time bad luck.
I think it's bad luck. Because what I know, Trey Lance was a design run, but it's not like Jimmy G was out there running around. And that's how we think you risk quarterbacks, like your quarterback, Josh Allen in Buffalo. Eventually he's going to take a hit. Yeah, I mean, that game on Sunday, that was definitely bad luck. That was a normal pass. It wasn't that kind of hit we've seen. A guy drops back, is about to throw the ball and gets hit in the arm. That has happened hundreds of times. That happened multiple times over the weekend. That's not usually an injury. That was bad luck.
Okay, well, I might disagree with you on that one because remember they made a big deal about this during the broadcast. Oh, you were at the game. But they made a big deal about this on the broadcast about how they were trying to block the Eagles' defensive ends with tight ends.
Yeah.
And it was not working.
Well, there was one play where they missed Reddick altogether, and Purdy turned around and Reddick was in his lap.
Yeah, right. So,
but not that play. But you've seen that play where a quarterback's throwing the ball and it gets hit in the arm.
No, but there was definitely a miscalculation in the beginning of the game. Yeah. And obviously, Purdy got hurt in the first quarter. There was a miscalculation of trying to block the Eagles' front, at least with tight ends on the sides. That was not going to work. They pointed it out. Greg Olsen pointed out on the broadcast, you got to go to something else here. And they eventually did get more protection. No, I mean, I'm just saying, Purdy was like a sitting duck out there for a little bit.
Yeah. So do you think that's why he got hurt?
I think he got hurt because Hassan Reddick took off his shoulder.
No, but that play happens 50 times a game.
Right,
I mean, the ball still went 20 yards in the air. He was throwing the ball.
No, we've seen that hit before, but could that hit have been prevented if the protection was better?
So you're saying the 49ers failure to protect the quarterback all year, but the numbers don't I don't think that 49ers quarterbacks are particularly in jeopardy.
No, I didn't say all year. In this game.
I mean, come on.
In this game, maybe the failure to protect Brock Purdy had to have led to it. Unless you just want to give all the credit in the world to the Philadelphia Eagles. They deserve it. Their defensive front is ferocious, and they knocked Purdy out of the game.
So, I mean,
they could have had a better blocking scheme.
They do lead the league in sacks, and I think they're on an all-time sack rate.
Yeah, they are.
And does that explain all the other injuries?
Well, no, I'm just talking about this one. I just said this one. I said this one.
I know, but it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous to pick this. You can't, though, because the question was about all the injuries. Is there a common thread?
Yeah.
And I don't think the common thread is that Kyle Shanahan doesn't protect his quarterbacks. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think the Niners have a worse record of getting sacked than every other team. Get the research department on that. But was Jimmy G in particular jeopardy, like David Carr in Houston? No, I don't think so.
No, and again, Jimmy got rolled up on. I'm not saying this is. I don't think this is a one-size-fits-all answer, but I think you could have, if you're asking if what Kyle Shanahan might look back over the tape and what he might say is maybe we should have had a better protection and a better blocking scheme for Brock Purdy in the beginning of that game, because the Eagles were getting to him and it wasn't even with ease.
So
and their offensive line is not bad.
According to the stat, quick research, the Niners are in the bottom 7 in the league in allowing sacks. Bottom, they're the best team.
You were at that game. Was Brock Purdy not under duress?
Yeah, he was. But of course he was under duress. Right. But the Niners are not particularly a team that allows a lot of sacks. So that cannot explain this Kyle Shanahan quarterback mystery. I mean, also they hand the ball off a lot. They're not a high-volume passing team.
Yeah, and he does a lot of those bootlegs and rollouts and all those, that's that kind of their thing. I think it is interesting how the 49ers quarterback situation, it's like death and taxes and the 49ers quarterback getting hurt.
Yeah, and I also, to Trey Lance, that's a completely different situation. There's no connection here. So the question is, how come Kyle Shanahan quarterbacks keep getting hurt? I think it's and also the Josh Johnson hit was not particularly different.
Yeah, and I mean, Josh Johnson is the same age as me. I mean, Josh Johnson is 39 years old or 38 years old, right?
Yeah, but even so, it was just an unlucky hit. I don't think it was a Lawrence Taylor hitting Joe Theismann kind of hit.
No, not like that. It was unlucky. It's been all different variety of things. I'm not blaming Kyle Shanahan. I didn't think they had a good blocking scheme. Obviously, they didn't because Purdy was under duress in that game. But that doesn't describe all of their injuries. Here's the question about it moving forward, though, is what are they going to do at quarterback? Because even if Kyle Shanahan right now is saying, first of all, I was really surprised that he completely ruled out Jimmy G.
Yeah, a little reminiscent of last year, though. So
I know, but don't you learn the lessons from last year? Like, hey, you might end up needing this guy.
Now he's a free agent, though. So they're not going to pay Jimmy G. They can't. Not after everything they've been through.
No, but say Brock Purdy has a setback in his elbow. I mean, even if you're not a diehard baseball fan, are we all not familiar enough with Tommy John where they'll say for pitchers it's a year and someone has a setback and it ends up being longer? It's a tricky injury.
I think Shanahan, this is the way he thinks. I think he thinks he's such a good quarterback coach that he could bring in someone cheaper than Jimmy G and turn him into something successful.
Like who?
Oh, I don't know.
Or just go with Lance.
Yeah, well, go with Lance, have Purdy hopefully getting healthy. Maybe bring in an Andy Dalton type, a bridge quarterback.
Got it.
Somebody like that, because
Shanahan
thinks he can turn anybody into something.
And you know what? To be fair, he's kind of proven
and he's got
that he can.
Yeah. And he's got McCaffrey and Debo there, too. I'm not sure that he looks at it and say, I have to invest a ton in quarterback.
Yeah, but then there could be criticism on that side, too, because you're so close right now to being a Super Bowl contending team.
Absolutely.
You can't neglect the quarterback situation. No offense to Andy Dalton.
I mean, they did trade 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance, so it's not like they were trying to neglect this quarterback situation.
So that's what's funny to me, right? So we always talk about the amount that they invested in trading up to get Trey Lance, yet Shanahan was saying that Purdy generally has the nod, right? Like he's kind of leaning Purdy depending on his rehab.
The way the press conference came off is it's kind of Purdy's job to lose, but there's a good chance that Purdy might not be ready. So Trey Lance will have more than ample opportunity to take the job. Now, Trey Lance has played. I just want to point out one thing about my guy, Trey Lance.
Yeah, he's played 5 minutes in the NFL.
But he's 1-1, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. And a pretty decent rating here of 84.5. I don't know why people are all assuming Trey Lance is not going to be something. He's 23 years old and has never played in the NFL. He's basically a rookie.
I know, but he's been in 4 games and got hurt in 2 of them.
So injury prone.
I don't know if he's prone. I think he's probably too young to say he's prone, but I'm just saying what's happened.
Wait, did he get hurt as a rookie?
Yeah. Remember his thumb?
No, I don't remember that.
He did.
Okay. No, I would totally believe you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of hopeful for Trey Lance because at the very least, Trey Lance can run. So maybe that'll make him more injury prone. But can you imagine this offense with a truly mobile quarterback?
Yeah, it'd be incredible. But I'm curious from the 49ers fans because I know we're on in Northern California and I know we have a lot of them listening. Like, who do you want to be your quarterback? You know, you're in this crazy no man's land here with this excellent team. But you have Brock Purdy with a sample size of 7 games, and then you have Trey Lance, who you moved heaven and earth to get, who we barely know the guy.
I think the Niners also have a 4 or 5 year window. I don't think this is a Rams team where they have 1 year to win. I mean, how old is Nick Bosa? He's ridiculously young.
Yeah.
He is 24, I believe.
It's just McCaffrey, I think.
Yeah, he's 25.
It's Trent Williams.
And it's McCaffrey.
Who you're always kind of waiting to see when he's going to.
Kyle Shanahan's had success before Trent Williams got there. They can put together a team. You're right. McCaffrey is in the window, but Debo, Warner's really young.
Yep.
Nick Bosa.
Hufanga, these guys are young.
Hufanga's young. Yep. They've done a really nice job drafting. They could really build something serious here. I don't think they look at it as hey, we got to get all in. You do make up a good point. Will they get criticized if they go in Purdy and Lance and it doesn't work because they're so close? But you could also say, what are you going to – this is a 7 or 8 year window.
Wow.
I think it is, yes.
Yeah, those windows are rare in the NFL.
I mean, look at the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Look at the Patriots. I'm sure the Niners want to be in that category.
Well, remember the George Kittle quote after the NFC Championship?
Oh, I forgot about that dude, too.
Yeah, and Kittle. But remember the Kittle quote? They're like, are you disappointed? And he's like, yeah, because we didn't have a quarterback. And it's like, yeah, you didn't have a quarterback. That was they were still in that game. I know the final score ended up being a blowout, but they were still in that game even after Brock Purdy got hurt and before the Josh Johnson fumble. I mean, maybe the Eagles were always going to blow them out that day, but the defense, at least in the first half, kept them in the game.
Yeah, but I do not think
surprisingly.
It took about 8 minutes for the Eagles to adjust and realize, oh my gosh, they can't pass the ball. And then they just put 9 guys in the box and the game was over because the Niners would do 4 plays, hand the ball over, and the Eagles knew they were going to wear out the defense.
And they did. did.
The Eagles didn't try and pass at all on Sunday. They just ran because they weren't scared of the defense at all. I mean, sorry, of the offense.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Let's go to John. He's in North Carolina. He's got an idea for San Francisco. What's up, John? How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Maggie. How are you and Perloff doing?
We're doing great.
Hey, Taylor Heineke.
I love it. That was exactly the name I was searching for and couldn't come up with.
I mean, the debate has, on various, sports shows has always been: is it a good quarterback on that team, or is it a good system for a quarterback to be on that team? And if Shanahan, like you said, if Shanahan can coach up somebody, well, sure. I mean, Heineke's proven he can win, and he's played decent. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he definitely has, and he's a kind of a gamer. By the way, do you guys remember last year Shanahan was rumored to possibly pick up Baker Mayfield midway through the season?
Yeah.
I think Heineke, Mayfield, those are guys Shanahan could work with.
Okay, but do you want to win a Super Bowl? I'm not no offense, and John, it's a fine idea.
No.
But what are we doing here?
That's the bridge guy they need because you have Lance and Purdy in the building.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Purdy won how many games in a row?
6, right? 6 or 7?
I thought it was 8, but yeah, because of the playoff game, but maybe you're right.
Oh, yeah, maybe with playoffs. I thought with playoffs it might have been 7. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, that's nothing to sneeze at. I think if you have Purdy and Lance in the building, you don't want to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you do want to bring in Aaron Rodgers, but Taylor Heineke is a perfect veteran guy who you can plug in and still win with.
Well, the Aaron Rodgers thing is different because if I'm Green Bay and I'm trading with San Francisco and we have this history and we're in the same conference, then I'm asking for everything. Like, I'm going to try to hold you over a barrel. So I don't know how much that's going to work. We also know that Green Bay had already said, right, that they would trade him to the AFC. But the other thing is, remember, didn't Heineke got a knee injury towards the end of the year? Right? Like, he had an injury also. Right. So it's, it's not like he's Mr. Durable.
I thought he was, okay. He got hurt at the end. I remember he was benched for Wentz for cause, right?
Yeah, but I think he had a knee injury also, if I'm remembering that right. We'll double check.
But he's going to be in the mix. They're not turning to Taylor Heineke. You're not bringing in a savior. You're bringing in another body just in case everyone else gets hurt. You got to go roll 3 deep at quarterback on that team.
Are you sure 3 is going to do it? And they had to go to 4 this year.
Maybe 4. Josh Johnson, as an Eagles fan, Josh Johnson threw 2 good passes on the first round. I'm like, ooh, remember him with the Jets? He was pretty good. Yeah. And everyone in my section said, who's Josh Johnson? I'm like, you don't know who Josh Johnson is? I guess Philly is the one team he's never played for.
That would be, imagine the person who's incredulous. You don't know who Josh Johnson is. It would be kind of tough to have missed him at this point. He's been in the league since like 1998.
Has he played more games at quarterback for more teams than anyone in history?
I think he has the record, right?
Yeah, I think
he's been on 13 teams or something.
Yeah, JT O'Sullivan has the record for practice squads. I know.
That's a fun name. Yeah. Phil's in Pennsylvania. Our buddy Phil. Phil with the Randall Cunningham
Maggie?
jersey.
Hey,
what's up, Phil?
How you doing today?
We're doing excellent. How are you doing?
Good. You know what, Perloff? I'm kind of disappointed that you showed up on Monday and your voice wasn't lost. You weren't cheering.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. I was physically cheering. I was waving the flag. I was jumping up and down. I was hugging strange men. It's all good.
Yeah, that's all fine. That's the same thing for me. I don't really, use my voice that much. But, yeah, I have another undaunted pick this week, if you'd like to hear.
Ooh.
Fire away.
After looking at everything, Eagles win between 14 and 17 points. My pick is 34-17 Eagles.
Wow.
It may be a flash in the pan, but that flash is molten lava.
I like what I'm hearing, Phil. Phil.
It's good. Yes, sir.
You know what's going to happen with the Randall Cunningham jersey.
You're going to get it signed beforehand, and I already decided I am going to give you permission to wear it during the game, even with the signature.
Well, it's not, Phil, this is not your decision. It is karma and the universe that decided.
Yes.
You know I cannot show up at the NFC title game and have them win in that jersey and not wear that jersey to the next game. That would be a fan crime 101. I'd be basically kicked out of Eagles Nation.
Yes, you definitely lose your man card for that.
So yeah,
man and fan.
By the way, guess, Phil, I did an inventory, the most popular jerseys at that game. Try to guess the 3 most popular jerseys, and it was a blow away. Me and my dad were talking about it.
Brian Westbrook.
Let's guess.
Brian
I'll
Dawkins.
guess Randall. I'll guess Dawkins. And
Dawkins.
I will guess McNabb.
No, there were McNabbs. 92 Reggie White was everywhere. I was surprised.
Reggie White, yeah.
Reggie White. There was maybe 3 Jalen Hurts jerseys. I guess people. I think there's a culture of wearing an old jersey or something because there was very few. There were a lot of Davante Smith. There were more of him than Jalen Hurts. Yeah, there's a charm. People love him. He is very
more
very
than
popular.
Hurts though.
It's weird. There weren't a ton of Hurts jerseys. Because also,
that'll change.
It was all mixed up in the Wentz thing. If you were going to invest in Jalen Hurts.
Are there Wentz jerseys?
No, there are no Wentz. Not a single Wentz jersey. You'd sooner see a Bubby Brister jersey or a Jeff Garcia jersey.
All right, I got one last thing for each of you.
Go ahead.
Pearl, the Eagles are not done. T-shirts are nice, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
There you
go. And Maggie, you know what the Eagles going to do next Sunday? Win.
Hit the music, Stu.
Poor Stu. This is your life now.
Stu, you see Phil going here? Come on, you know Phil.
Where'd it go?
What are we waiting for? Take this!
Yeah.
Oh no.
Are we going to kill this? Are we going to overkill this?
Yes.
That's my fear here.
Now we have to overkill it. That's the way this works.
No, we need to save it for when we really, really need it.
No, we have to play it a million times until people hate it.
Third quarter, Mahomes starts getting some confidence, finding MVS all over the field. That's when you put that video up. Fires up Brandon Graham, strip sack, Eagles win.
Man,
Thank you.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
Wait, what's the next thing that Burgess Meredith says? What are we waiting for?
Take it.
Take it. Oh, take it. Okay.
Right? That's
exactly. Yeah, I don't remember. What are we waiting for is a big line. I didn't know take what?
Take the fight.
Okay.
I think it's take it.
Or take the belt?
Take it could be the belt.
All right. What are we waiting for?
No, don't do it.
What are we waiting
Don't
for?
do it.
Take this!
We have a coworker.
Yes.
Sal Licata, WFAN, who continually ranks the Rocky movies. I rewatched.
How would they change?
His Rocky 2 is the #1 Rocky movie, which is insane to me.
Wait,
insane.
Really? That's my number one.
Again,
2 is 1?
Proof of my concept here. How can you say Rocky 2 is #1?
Rocky 1 is the best film.
Yeah.
But the most entertaining, the best movie is 2.
No.
And then 4.
2 is not that entertaining. 3 is really entertaining.
Is it because
with Mr.
Rocky
T.
wins in 2?
I think so.
I see that argument.
One is all about like Rocky's life as basically like as a grease man or whatever it is.
He's working in the butcher.
Not that much fighting. Number 2, it's all the boxing, it's all the rematch, it's all the Apollo stuff. It's fantastic. And then, it's more of a happy ending. 1 is the best film. 2 is the best movie. 4 is my favorite, though.
By the way, he's not working. Paulie's working at the butcher outfit.
Oh, sorry.
Rocky.
Pardon me. It came out in 1978.
Rocky. Oh, stop. Oh, okay. Now you know what? We have to go to break because to claim the too young for Rocky card is ridiculous.
No. I'm thinking when he's hitting the meat in the cooler.
Because Paulie, it's at Paulie's place. He says in the interview, my friend Paul works at this store.
Oh, where does what's Rocky doing?
He collects debts for that guy.
He basically works for like the mafia.
Yeah.
Right.
That guy who actually ends up being in Godfather 2. Whoever he works for. Anyway, going down a Rocky hole. Philadelphia people are
Stu, how many
very,
Rockies have you
very
seen?
sensitive.
I've seen the first 2. That is it. I've not seen.
You've never seen 3 or 4?
I've never
you don't
seen
know
3.
Have you seen Creed?
No.
Crazy.
You've never seen both
you know
Creeds?
What? Nope. You've got a lot of good Rockies ahead of you. Because 3 is awesome. You know who's in it, right? Mr. T.
He doesn't know Ivan Drago.
And number 4 is obviously Drago.
5 you could do without.
5 was the...
Is that Tommy Morrison?
Yeah.
Tommy the Machine Gun?
I'm not sure I ever saw that one.
Touch me and I'll sue. Touch me and I'll sue.
That was the street fight, right?
Yeah, well, that's when, the Don King, promoter guy was like, don't,
Stu, you've got a lot of good Rockies in front of you. We've been doing all these Drago references, and Stu's just nodding along.
Stu has never seen more than 4 movies in his life. Like, those 2 Rocky movies are half of the movies he's ever seen.
You want to know why? Because I respect it. Stu is too busy watching sports.
That's not true.
He's
Is that
watching
true?
so much Lakers.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
That's like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Soccer.
That's your mornings and your afternoons.
Yeah.
You've got football, of course.
Football day, Saturday, Sunday.
You're a big college and NFL.
Yeah, a little hockey in there as well.
Big Yankee fan.
Massive Yankees.
Yeah.
That's 162 plus playoffs.
If Stu's pulling out all 162,
I bet Stu.
No. The high school me, yes. Now me, maybe like 120, 130.
Still a high clip.
Still a lot, I know.
I think I did 3 last year, and I fast-forwarded through 2 of them.
I know. Samter worked at the stadium and only saw 3 games.
Well, I was selling stuff. I was very busy.
We know.
Wait,
You're
I'm
very
just curious.
busy.
You went from like inning 1 through inning 9 of 120 baseball games this year?
I mean, maybe not every single pitch. I might have walked away at some point, but yeah, I watched a lot of games.
So, like, Laura's asking, like, when people just in random conversations do go, if he dies, he dies. You have no idea what they're talking about.
No clue. No.
Not a clue. All right,
not a clue.
listen, I'm not judging you. I'm excited for you that you get these movies that you still haven't seen.
You got to watch Creed, too. You'll love that movie.
Maggie, if you can change and I can change, we can all change.
Don't say it. He doesn't get the reference. It's just lost on him. Don't do it for my benefit.
Stu, do you even know who Mr. T is?
Oh, yes. Do I not know who Mr. T is?
He might not.
That's a good point.
Mike Tannenbaum?
We should send that to him.
I've met Mr. T. I have a great Mr. T story.
Oh, yeah. I've met Mr. T. He's the nicest guy.
Nicest guy.
He was security for Muhammad Ali.
He let me wear one of his chains, and I could not keep it on my neck for more than half a second. The thing had to have weighed like 30 pounds.
That's sad.
It was a
Fake it, Samter.
I was also like 9.
Oh, okay.
Or 10.
I thought you were talking about now. No, he's got great stories. He was muscle for Muhammad Ali. Like, imagine that. You're the bodyguard for him. Very, very cool. Mr. T was a really nice guy. Okay. Coming up, we will... Oh, we're going to Lake and Bake coming up. This is right up Stu's wheelhouse. Now he's really excited.
All right.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227, because LeBron James is on the verge of history. So when is he actually going to break Kareem's record, and will Kareem be there to see it? Unpack a little of that. Get back to football, of course. TJ Watt later on in the hour. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff right after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff. So LeBron James, when he's not busy complaining about officials and beating bad teams like the Knicks in overtime, is on the verge of setting the all-time scoring record. Yeah, that was a shot at your guys, Stu. Sorry. 89 points away from breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's NBA scoring record. Now let's look at the schedule ahead of us, Maggie. 89 points. He's got at Indiana tonight, a team I think that beat them, came back and beat them last time. At New Orleans. Then he's got 2 home games, Oklahoma City and Milwaukee. When do you think he breaks it? And do you think that he's trying to figure out the right spot?
Yeah, well, can we hit the music? Perloff was always half in on this to begin with.
Yeah, but I feel like this is a real sport. Lake and bake, I don't think it's necessary when talking about LeBron passing the all-time scoring record.
Listen, we have it. We're going to use it.
Maybe we use that for Westbrook stories, but okay.
When he passes the all-time, he's 10th on the all-time assist record, right? We'll use that for Westbrook. Okay, so first of all, guys, this is how sports works. One of the reasons I think that the Lakers even have LeBron James is so that they have him in a Lakers uniform when he passes milestones like this.
I totally just. You telling me that when they signed LeBron James, that was their number one priority? It's not.
No, it's not their number one priority, but I think it's a nice perk because the ticket sales for those 2 games, the Oklahoma City and Milwaukee that you talked about on Tuesday, February 7th and Thursday, February 9th, those tickets are going to be off the charts expensive.
Wait, but don't they? I'm just curious. Don't the Lakers sell out anyway? It has nothing to do with the team.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if every game's a sellout for the Lakers. I'm not sure.
I think this year in particular, there's been games with a lot of empty seats towards the top, from what I've read.
Okay.
Oh, really? Anyway.
But you get LeBron doing this in your uniform, and so I don't think it was the biggest reason, but I think it's a nice perk. And then you kind of get to say, hey, we had the last scoring champion, or we had the last all-time scorer, and now we have the newest one. And I think he's definitely going to do this at home. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's 89 away. So he'd really, I know he's on he's playing great, but like he'd really have to push it to have 44 points and 45 points in a game. Right?
Yeah,
he doesn't have to do that.
He's done a lot of those games lately, 40-something, but he's not going to put 2 in a row on the road together. That's
also,
not happening.
I mean, league partners, let's just take a look at that because the business of this comes in. You're at New Orleans, and that's ESPN2 is carrying that, as opposed to you could just wait for Thursday, February 9th, and you're on TNT.
Well, what about, Tuesday, February 7th, they're not on anything. Oklahoma City at L.A., and that's
got a DNP written all over it.
Definitely.
That is some knee tendonitis.
I got to tell you, though, if you look at how records have been broken, it does not always go according to script. There's a lot of records that have completely boring scenarios around them.
We just saw Aaron Judge. The Maris family was following around. They had to go to Canada to watch him hit 62. I mean, Steph Curry broke the all-time three-point record in New York. It doesn't always work out, but this is like set up pretty well for them to manipulate this. Also, it's February, and the Lakers are like in 10th place. So what does it really matter?
I have no problem if they do manipulate it. I just think that it's hard to predict these things. I think obviously Milwaukee with Giannis Thursday, February 9th would be perfect, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's at 89, what if he has like 25 and 25 and he's 39 away from the title? Then he just gets hot against Oklahoma City. You're saying he's going to pull back, take me out of the game so I could do it on national TV? That's a lot to control.
Just keep passing it to Russ. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah. No, Russ is playing well, isn't he?
Yeah, it's like, Anthony Davis is playing well too. Yeah, just pass it around. Be LeBron the facilitator.
What if it's a foul shot or something really boring?
Oh, no, it's got to be a dunk, right?
Yeah, I heard Shannon Sharp say that he's going to try and make it a sky hook as a tribute to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So do we think that Kareem is going to be in attendance?
No. Maybe in L.A., but actually, if it's in L.A., yes. But I think I read a report that they don't think he's going to be there. But that might be wrong. Maybe he'll rise to the occasion.
I don't know if they have a great relationship. You know, LeBron and Kareem.
Why?
I think there's some stuff there. Yeah, Mike is nodding his head.
Kareem has come out and spoken against LeBron about various things that LeBron has said, done, and whatever. And then LeBron, in response, is just like, "Yeah, I just don't care about Kareem. Like the old dude can say whatever he wants." They don't have a good relationship.
I don't think they really ever did. And listen, Kareem really calls it like he sees it. And that's something he never sugarcoats. Never holds back on anything, and it's something that's got him criticism, but obviously a lot of praise. Because, I mean, Kareem's incredibly smart. And LeBron is, too.
Yeah.
It's just they have some issues.
Kareem's a real joy. I mean, I'm sorry.
He's a more serious guy,
Oh, you think? Yeah.
Had the pleasure of interviewing a few times.
Those are always super fun.
It's like when you interview someone who's like an intellectual,
No, it's not. Because there's plenty of super nice intellectuals, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not one of those. And also, he's an amazing writer, too.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
The columns that he's written for Time in the last 10 years are better than anything a full-time journalist has written.
Super, super talented.
But he is not a nice guy to interview, in my opinion.
Oh, I've interviewed him several times. I've never come away saying he wasn't nice.
Not easy. No, not nice is not the right word.
Yeah.
But he doesn't make it easy for you. It's my experience watching him in interviews.
He suffers no fools, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like you have to come in there with your A game, is my experience. Okay. Let's turn our attention to another A-lister, of course, Rich Ackerman. Coming up after the CBS Sports Update, the 3-time All-Pro, the 5-time Pro Bowler, outside linebacker for your Pittsburgh Steelers, TJ Watt's going to join us after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag. Well, the Colts are still looking for a coach despite making the change in season and are reportedly considering a rare third round of interviews. They recently interviewed Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn for a second time, and Eagles OC Shane Steichen will reportedly meet with Indy this weekend. The Eagles will be in their green uniforms for Super Bowl 57, wearing the same ones they had in Super Bowl 52 when they won it all. The Chiefs will be dressed in white. The defending champion Warriors continue their road trip tonight in Denver. They're coming off a loss in overtime last night in Minnesota as they head into the matchup with the Western Conference leaders as they strive to get back to where they were last season. Head coach Steve Kerr said last night was a reminder this is no longer a championship team.
If you want to win, especially on the road, you have to execute, and we're not good enough to win without executing. We might have been a few years ago. We're not good enough now to win without executing.
The Grizzlies, second in the West, are in Cleveland tonight following a loss last night to Portland in which they allowed 42 to Damian Lillard, while the Bucks, second in the East. They've won 5 in a row and look to extend that streak against the Clippers in a late start, 9 p.m. local time. College basketball, third-ranked Houston is on the road at Wichita State. I'm Rich Eckham.
I'm JR. CBS Sports Radio has moved to SiriusXM Channel 158. Or listen on your local station. Find your local affiliate at Odyssey.com/stations.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. We are so pleased now to welcome in the 3-time All-Pro, the 5-time Pro Bowler. Of course, he's here with us on behalf of Invisalign, which we'll get to in just a moment. I wore Invisalign for a long time. TJ Watt is good enough to join the show. TJ, thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you guys for having me on. Happy to be here.
Appreciate it. So, okay, first about your brother, because that video that you and a bunch of other players and coaches in the NFL recorded for him upon his retirement moved him to tears. TJ, did you know that video was going to make him cry when he saw it?
I don't know. I know that he's a softie at heart, but obviously it's tough to know how his reaction is going to be the day before a game, just because you have so much energy built up leading to the game tomorrow. So it was a special moment. Definitely brought a tear to my eye to see him move the way that he was, but he deserves it all.
TJ, is he going to be restless in retirement? He seems like a guy who's got to be busy all the time.
I don't know. We're going to have to see. It's been so fresh that I don't even know if he knows what he's going to do. So I think we're all just kind of have to stick around and stay tuned.
Okay, so JJ is a big softie on the inside. You said that you shed a tear just watching him watch the video. Are you Watts, like all really just softies, yet you're so ferocious on the field?
I think that, my dad always told us you have to have an on and off switch to be an excellent football player, just so you can be a good person, as well as in the community and just a person in general. But, I love my brothers. I love my family. So whenever you talk about them, it's definitely a soft spot in my heart.
So when all the Watts get together, is there sort of like, what role does everybody play? Is there a guy who's sort of the softest amongst you, who gets the most emotional? Is there a funny person?
It's got to be an instigator.
Yeah.
There's always an instigator.
It's definitely not a sit around cry fest. I think it's just for big. My brother put so much into his career. I think he said it was like 20 some years of playing football. It's a huge part of it. And when you replay back, just all the little intricacies of his career, the ups, the downs, the conversations, the motivational talks, it's just so much that goes into it. That when it's all said and done and you're not going to play anymore, it's a sad feeling, but it's also just a sense of pride about all the impressive career that he's strung together.
TJ Watt is our guest, of course. Pittsburgh Steelers, do everything, 3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. We want to get to your season because despite the fact that you missed several games, it was a remarkable year for you. But one other thing, TJ, I was looking on your Instagram recently, and you have this great video from your wedding from last summer. And it's a really quick flash, but there's somebody who looks like a professional football player doing the worm on the dance floor at your wedding. Who is this person?
That's my buddy Chikwe. I have so many good friends, college teammates, high school teammates, obviously NFL teammates as well, that we just wanted to have a good time. And I'm glad that I was able to have a couple of them out at my wedding. And I'm glad Chikwe made the video.
That dude was moving across the floor. It was pretty impressive. We're told all the time that football is never about just one guy, but it's really, staggering to see what the Steelers were able to do once you came back from the torn pec. They were 1-6 when you were out injured, 8-2 after your injury. How do you explain that?
I don't know. I don't have to explain it either. That's just one of those things that I just go to work and try to do the best that I can to be the best player I can be and teammate. And it's not always what you can do on the field. It's about how you can try to get men to rally around you and try to spark as much as we possibly can for the defense. And hopefully that gets contagious throughout the team. And if you're not always playing the best that you want to, which was the case for me this season, it was all about bringing energy and trying to bring as much juice and spark to the team as possible.
TJ, you guys came on so strong at the end of the season. I felt if there was 2 or 3 more games in the season, then this Steelers team really would have made some noise. Was it frustrating? Do you feel like you guys really kind of figured out the end and maybe it was a little too late?
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt too. It was too little too late, but we were continuing to get better each and every week. We were starting to play complementary football with offense, defense, special teams, and we were starting to get our stride. But if anything, that shows us that it's possible that we can continue to stay on the rise, as Coach Tomlin always says. And it's encouraging for this next season.
And what did you see as far as rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett's progression as he came on at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, Kenny, we knew as soon as he stepped in the building, he was going to be a good component for us, a good leader. And like I said before, it's just about getting better each and every week. I mean, he put together some awesome drives towards the end of games there, especially down the stretch. And I think he's only going to get better as he gets older.
We're talking to TJ Watt. He's the 5-time Pro Bowler, outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's joining us on behalf of Invisalign, which is the presenting sponsor for the NFL honors this year, which is pretty cool. Is there a point, though, TJ, when you start to trust a rookie quarterback? And what is that? When is that? When you trust that he's going to be able to lead those game-winning drives?
Yeah, I don't know if the moment I can really pick out is when we were in Baltimore and they were driving and we were probably not even at half field yet. And Kenny was taking the offense down the field and we already grabbed our helmets as defense and we were talking about what plays we were going to run, how we were going to brush the passer. And we hadn't even crossed the 50-yard line yet. We just knew that he was going to drive them down and score a touchdown. So I think that's kind of one of the moments that I look back on and say, Kenny is the guy. And I look forward to playing with him for many years.
All right, so how about on the defensive side of the ball? When you're on the field, I mean, it's completely, as we said, a different team. Next year, I think there's going to be a real opportunity to improve. What can you guys do better and more consistently next season?
I mean, we always talk about stopping the run. We want to get back to just being a top 5 defense in general in every category. And it's all about creating those splash plays, as we call them in the building, which are just turnover type plays, whether it's tip balls, overthrows, interceptions, forced fumbles, sacks, all that stuff. We just want to continue to grow and stuff like that. I mean, we have the nucleus of this defense sticking together. So hopefully that improvement comes.
TJ, we'll ask you about Invisalign, as I said, in just one moment. But of course, Taylor Lewan right now, man, he just cannot stop talking about you. He's a free agent this year. He says he wants to play for the Steelers, but he admitted that you guys have bad blood because he claims he spit on you in a game. I mean, completely crossing the line. Could you ever play with somebody who you have that kind of beef with? Could you just all of a sudden now become teammates with somebody that you have a history with like that?
I don't know. I mean, all those front office decisions are mine, so that makes it easy for me.
Yeah, but I imagine, are you watching this a little bit more closely or not really?
No, I kind of mind my own business this time of year.
TJ, we know that Invisalign, the presenting sponsor for the NFL honors. So do you get a role in the NFL honors or something like that?
No, but I'll be out there. I'll be on Radio Row. I have my partnership with Invisalign. I'm an Invisalign aligner user myself. I've been using them since this past March. And it's one of those things that a lot of guys in the locker room actually use them. And the biggest thing for me was that you don't have those emergency appointments unnecessarily as that come with braces. And it's just so easy with my lifestyle. I can pop them out, have a meal, toss them back in, and my teeth are getting straightened. And I can actually practice with them in as well. So it was kind of a win-win situation for me and a no-brainer to work with Invisalign because I'm so happy with the product.
I can tell you they work because I used them too.
Yeah. TJ, my dentist just said to me 2 weeks ago, you need to get Invisalign. And I said to him, I'm on the radio. Will it get in the way? And he promised me he wouldn't. Can you confirm what Dr. Yao said?
Yeah, yes.
Firm. I mean, I never had any problem talking and never had any problem. I mean, it's awesome because if you want to have a snack, you just take them out and have a quick snack on the side. You can hit your mute button there and you can have a snack and toss them right back.
He's never allowed to take breaks, Perloff. TJ, we don't allow him to take breaks. Last one for me is, were you looking at the Lamar Jackson contract situation with Baltimore and thinking, you know what, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if this guy left the division?
Yeah, that's one of those things. You just play whoever's scheduled, and he's a great competitor, and I'm sure he'll get paid in one way or the other.
All right, last one for me. I'm an Eagles fan, TJ. I just saw Lane Johnson kind of shut down Nick Bosa to some extent. I know you played the Eagles once. I don't know if you played Lane Johnson, but can you tell me? I'm confident that the Eagles O-line really looks like they're ready to go. I don't know how much you've watched these teams, but if you could stop Nick Bosa, you could stop anyone, in my opinion. Do you agree?
I mean, they've had a great season, and I mean that whole line has been together for quite some time. And when your quarterback's playing at the elite level that he is, I think it just makes everyone's job around him a little bit easier. And it's a tough task, but Kansas City has a lot of great weapons as well, so it'll be a good game.
TJ Watt, of course, he's the 3-time All-Pro, the 5-time Pro Bowler, outside linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. On behalf of Invisalign, TJ, thanks so much for doing this. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me on, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay,
Thank you, TJ.
Versus Sport Jackets.
Okay.
Fox announced that Tom Brady is not going to be part of the Super Bowl coverage.
Oh, no. We don't get to settle our suit versus
It's
Sport Jacket
because they
debate.
told him you have to wear a suit, and he says, heck no, I'm going TB12 polo.
Do you remember when he wore that crazy suit to the Met Gala bar? It was a black suit with these gold chains that come in front. It's his worst outfit he ever wore. I was hoping that he was going to top that, but he definitely would have gone suit. But what's he doing? What do you mean he's not going to be part of the coverage?
I don't know. I read the story that Fox said they are not planning to have Tom Brady be part of the coverage.
$300 million, and he's not doing the Super Bowl.
Well, my question is, do you think he goes right into the booth next year? Because that contract just feels like it's kind of whenever he's ready for it. So, I don't know, maybe Greg Olsen gets another year?
But that doesn't feel like the luster, not the luster, but like you wait a year to kind of like, if he hops right into the booth, there's like some level of like, hey, it's still Tom Brady. He just retired.
You know what I do if I were him? I would take that year and I would do pretend games. Like I would try to get good at this because you don't want to, no offense to him, he was very gracious to come on our show, but you don't want to be Jason Witten. You don't want to get into the booth and just have no idea what you're doing. And then it's not fun for you and it's not fun for the audience.
I'm not one of those people who really parse the words of the broadcasters. I don't care. If I'm Tom Brady, just get in there. Who cares? First of all, everybody loved Tony Romo at first, then everyone turned on Tony Romo as Romo just acknowledged. Just get out there. Learn on the job. I like what you said. Romo did one practice game, or two, and then he was ready to go.
Pretty crazy. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Perloff goes against the Gray Necks. Grainers, get ready. He's got a good one for you today.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Think about a dinner tonight, that seltzer water with bits of hot dog from our attempt at having hot dog straws.
Yeah.
If I'm a Packers fan, I'm not nervous. I'm just getting 12 hot dog straws. I'm drinking 12 beers. If you're hammered on hot dog beer, Christian Watson could be Davante Adams.
If you're hammered on hot dog beer, can that please be our show motto?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the one hammered on hot dog beer. Someone who would never drink beer out of a hot dog because he doesn't drink beer and he doesn't eat hot dogs is Tom Brady. Would he drink, like, I don't know, protein shake through a yogurt? I'm not sure. I'm doing this off the top of my head.
Protein shake through a yogurt.
I don't know.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
What up, what up? So glad to have you, Maggie and Perloff. Coming up later in this hour, Michael Lombardi, the former general manager, will join us to get the latest on all things quarterback carousel, coaching carousel, and more. But without further ado, the Grainers are ready. You're ready. Let's go.
Just win.
No, don't do that.
I keep screwing up the line. What is
Against the Grain?
Yeah.
What does Adrian say?
You're the Rocky expert around here.
I'm terrible at remembering lines.
Win.
Are we doing it now once an hour, once a segment?
Can we change the Against the Grain music to get a little bit of that Rocky bells in there too, moving forward? Okay. Yes, get fired up. All right, Maggie, you and I talked about yesterday. The collective yawn of Sean Payton being hired in Denver is one of the most mystifying things to me. You're all crazy. This is by 10 miles the best move of the offseason. What other coach is going to win? Sean Payton is going into a perfect spot. I have 10 reasons here. I'm not going to give you all 10.
10?
I'm not going to give you all 10. I could go on to 11 if I wanted to.
Wow.
Number one, Payton's done it before. He took over, nobody remembers this, in 2005, the Saints were 3-13. He got to the conference title game in his first year. I didn't remember that at all. They went on to lose to the Rex Grossman Bears, who got killed by the Colts, won a Super Bowl in 4 years. And this thing that he only won one Super Bowl is because of Bountygate, Drew Brees' contract, and the refs screwing them over against the Rams in an AFC title game. Payton is by far the most proven guy, much more so than Mike McCarthy. Not only this, listen to this number from The Athletic. From the years 2006 to 2021, Payton averaged 392 yards a game. The Saints were by far the most prolific offense in that stretch, all the way through 2021. Never lost his fastball. Second in points at 27.7, only behind Brady. So that's okay. Anyway, he has proven it more than anyone that's been on the job market in a long time. That's the number one reason. I mean, you agree Sean Payton is a great, great candidate.
Absolutely. I mean, he was the number one guy. He would have been the number one available guy next year if he sat out this cycle. Yeah, I think anyone believed that Sean Payton was going to be worth it.
Okay, he is walking into a situation in Denver that is very underrated. They have so many injured players coming back. You have an all-pro left tackle, Garrett Bowles. You have a really, really good running back, Javonte Williams. You love Javonte Williams, Maggie. You could not stop talking about him.
Yeah.
Well, probably a stretch. But
I think that was you, but yeah. I loved him. I love him.
I love number 2 wide receiver, Tim Patrick. So they don't have any salary cap space, and they have no draft picks. But they do have this army of injured players coming back. And even the guys who weren't out for the whole season were in and out. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler. They have so many players coming back. It's going to be a completely different roster. Anybody could improve this team.
Well, can I also mention, I don't know why the New Orleans Saints didn't ask for picks and a player.
I don't think
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if I would have asked for something.
The Saints can't pay anybody. Anybody with a contract, they cannot bring in.
I know, but they have young guys. Why not ask for Williams? I know he's hurt, but, I don't know. I thought they were going to ask for picks and a player, but this is not Maggie's against the grain. This is Perloff's against the grain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a running back coming off an ACL, I'm not sure.
Well, but you're saying that he's going to be the key to their offense next year.
Yeah, but their offense, not the Saints' offense.
Got it.
Number 3, this one is where it gets controversial. Russell Wilson wasn't that bad. Do you buy it? Hey, let me tell you why.
I mean, that's your against the grain right there.
He had to learn the offense in front of the entire country. 4 of the first 6 games were prime time. Yeah. You remember it. It was a nightmare.
How could I forget?
It went terribly. Remember the field goal attempt week 1 against the Seahawks, that disaster against the Colts in overtime that still makes no sense how they lost that game 12-9 and outgained them by 300 yards. By the end of the season, Russ was cooking. 3 out of his last 5 games had a rating over 100. Which is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's good.
Torched Stu's Raiders, lost a game because he threw the ball away instead of going down on the sack. Gave the Raiders the ball back. But anyway, that's besides the point. He got way, way better, got much healthier. And, he was hurt all year. He had a hamstring, a shoulder, and a concussion. So he comes back healthy. Number 4, we're not going to belabor this. I don't care about the draft picks. And they only had to give away a late first rounder, the 29th pick, and a second-round pick. Those guys aren't going to help immediately. Number 5, the other option's totally flawed. DeMeco Ryans. Explain DeMeco Ryans. A 38-year-old defensive coordinator is going to come in and fix a 34-year-old Russell Wilson? How is that supposed to work? That made no sense to me.
Yeah, he's a defensive player. I just wonder who was DeMeco Ryans bringing as his offensive coordinator.
Nobody's going to gain the respect of Russell Wilson like Sean Payton will. Ryans and Wilson are the same age. They must have played together against each other many times. That just didn't seem like a natural fit to me. I love DeMeco Ryans in Houston. Number 7 and 8 combined. Sean Payton is so cutthroat. People think he's a nice guy because he was on TV. Okay, he should not have gotten suspended for Bountygate.
Right.
But he did lead a team that had the most savage, vicious strategy that won them a Super Bowl. And I know that could be a negative, but I want a coach who will bend some corners, like Bill Belichick, like Sean Payton, both Bill Parcells acolytes. He's vicious, and I love that. He is not a coach who messes around. That's exactly what Russell Wilson needs, someone to come in there and yell. 2 more things. He's going to bring with him Mike Thomas, can't guard Mike. Saints desperate to get rid of that contract. They just redid it, but it's set up so they can trade him this offseason. Perfect security blanket for Russell Wilson. It's going to happen.
If he plays.
He's going to play. He was just he didn't want to be in New Orleans. And they're going to bring Taysom Hill, who is going to take away all the short yard carries from Russell Wilson, save some wear and tear. 2 more. Home field advantage. Denver, all 3 big-time Denver programs have the best home field advantage over the last 30 years. I saw that side. You cannot play in that altitude. So Sean Payton's going to get these easy wins. Even last year with Nathaniel Hackett, they were 4-4 at home. They're 1-7 on the road.
Yeah.
And finally, here's where this is another against grain. I'm not scared of the AFC West, Maggie. Just not scared.
Okay, why?
It's not the NFC East.
The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
Chiefs are good. But you,
Yeah,
if you're Sean Payton and you're looking at the NFL landscape, you're scared of Brandon Staley and Josh McDaniels, the Raiders coach and the Chargers coach? No, you're not. You don't have the slightest fear. We overrated them last year. Are we going to do that again next year? Denver can move right up that division. They're going to beat the Raiders. The Raiders are a mess unless they get Aaron Rodgers.
So then they're
I think the Chargers are about to take a step back. I know they got Kellen Moore. Sorry. And the Chiefs are held together by super glue. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, can he stay healthy for a season? There's an opportunity in the AFC West. This is just such a no-brainer. He's going to turn this around immediately, Maggie. They're going to be good next year.
All right, say it.
Not Super Bowl.
I mean, you made the case. You just laid out 10 points. How does this not end with you predicting them they're going to be in the Super Bowl?
This ends with their win totals at 8. I am going the mortgage, all the money I have, if they go over 8 wins. They are definitely a playoff team. And now I'm not going to say Super Bowl, but Sean Payton makes them a playoff team, and he will, if he sticks with it, eventually get this team to the Super Bowl. I mean, he's a really good coach, and this is a really good situation. Tons of money. Great franchise history, great home field advantage. This is perfect. And I don't know, why are people not into this?
So it's not that people aren't into it. I think there might be like a red flag or two if he wasn't getting along, or there might have been some friction with ownership and they hadn't even started yet. Then I don't know if that report got debunked. It got debunked by Sean Payton himself, but was that a little like doth protest too much? I don't know. The other part of it is there is a large part of the population that thinks that Russ is washed. And you brought up a good point that he had the passer rating of over 100 towards the end of the season. Maybe you just need a little more time to adjust. And those high-profile failures, I think, were really bad for this
early
team.
In the season.
Yeah,
at the end of the year, they were 4 p.m. Eastern every week.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Except I think they had a Christmas game where they got destroyed by the Rams.
Yeah.
But that was a weird one.
The Baker Mayfield Rams, right?
Yeah, that was not good. But that wasn't Russ's fault. 51-14. Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I hear you. He's 34. I mean, the funny thing is, short quarterback, Drew Brees. The question is, will Russell Wilson listen to his coach? And I think he will, because he's Sean Payton. I think he's going to really be dialed in a way that he couldn't do. Hackett wanted to be his friend. He didn't want to be his coach.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Aaron Rodgers even was talking about Hackett. Like, he made it fun. He made it, it's like it wasn't a grind. It's like, well, I mean, didn't seem that fun in Denver. I don't know how many, break dances you can do and, magic tricks you can pull out, but I think that probably gets old when you're 1-7.
Oh, right. Wait, now I know he was a breakdance instructor at some point. Yeah. Was he pulling out break dances for the team?
I mean, if you have a skill like that, don't you break it out? It's, no pun intended. I don't think people who know how to break dance can keep themselves from break dancing when the opportunity arises.
That's probably true. But that gets to the point about Nathaniel Hackett. The bottom line, the most important thing about this win total, the bar is so low because of Nathaniel Hackett. Sean Payton just has to go out there and not royally screw up every day, and he's going to look like Vince Lombardi combined with Don Shula.
Well, here's an interesting one in the chat from See Me. Russ didn't play any preseason games.
Yes.
I mean, that's going to have to change, right? Like, he's going to have to get because if it's going to be a new offense, he's going to have a little bit more, reps and playing in the preseason.
Good point.
Or maybe not, but it would seem like they might have to.
And Payton, isn't he famous for precision? Drew Brees sat back there, hit 1 read, 2 read, 3 reads. Russ likes to take off a little bit.
Yeah.
But Russ was hurt last year. I don't know. Why do people not talk about it? He hurt his hamstring in week 5.
Because he kept playing.
Yeah, but he wasn't himself.
I know, but it's like if you're out there, even with Patrick Mahomes, who's playing on an ankle sprain, on a high ankle sprain, we give him a little bit of a pass because he's gutting through an injury right now. But in the regular season, generally, I don't think we're kind of like, hey, if you're good enough to be out there, then we expect you to play well. And add on top of it, Russ's contract. You're right about those people who are injured, they have to come back and play well.
Yeah.
It's not a choice. You're talking about Javonte Williams coming back off of an ACL. He's got to play well because I don't think they have a ton of cap space, and Russ has taken every dollar, as much as he can.
Yeah, I mean, last year when Melvin Gordon had to play and got fumbleitis, it was a huge problem. It cost him 2 games for sure. And even when he was in the game, he was so scared of fumbling that he couldn't get past 2 yards.
Okay, here's a question. When Sean Payton does his introductory press conference, whenever that's going to be, does he drop Let's Ride?
Ooh. I don't know. Probably not.
I think he might say it.
A little Broncos country?
I think he might say Broncos country, let's ride, but maybe as like a... It would seem like he's making fun of Russ, actually.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah.
Is Russ... He retired this, right?
No,
This
he
is over.
came back when they... Didn't he come back at the end of the year?
Oh, man.
Well, I know
Read the room, dude.
I don't think he's going to do Let's Ride. He might do Spicy?
No, don't do this. Subway ran from that. That's a free plug.
But did you see the story that Sean Payton wore his orange tie on Sunday?
Oh, on Fox?
Yes.
Oh, is a little Easter egg for everybody?
Yes. I did not notice it at all.
It's kind of lame.
But totally lame, but it could lead to a Let's Ride.
I think they need a whole new slogan. They need a whole new everything. They got to, like, Kyrie Irving burn sage in the building. Get all last year out of here.
I think all you have to do is hire a new coach. That's effectively the same thing. I would also clean out a bunch of players and bring in a bunch of new players. I know you can't really do that with a cap, but there was obviously a loser mentality in Denver under Hackett.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he gave them much to feel like. I don't think he made them think they could win.
No. But, and I like that I added Mike Thomas to their roster. You're welcome, Denver fans. Easy enough.
No, they're going to be like, thanks for nothing. That's literally what Mike Thomas has given you over the last 4 years.
I have a theory
nothing.
that he's actually perfectly healthy and is, for other reasons, is not playing New Orleans. Can you imagine how great that would be for Russell Wilson? That's 20 points higher in passer rating if Mike Thomas is healthy in there.
I know. I think the Saints were kind of hoping that maybe he'd be a bit more of a thing this year. But they have Olave now.
Yeah, no, he's going to be great in Denver. And Taysom Hill, man, he's going to throw the ball 70 yards in that altitude, Maggie. Watch out. It's all coming together. I mean, obviously I'm an Eagles fan first, but I think I have to wear orange at the beginning of next season.
Wow.
Oh.
I know, Stu's Raiders.
But then again, if Rodgers goes to the Raiders, I'm also wearing black because I want in on that party.
You're whatever bandwagon you can get to first.
Yeah. But, I mean, who doesn't want to be a Raiders with Rodgers? That would be the coolest team in the world.
Yeah, so apparently Rodgers is at Pebble Beach, and he did have something to say. We're going to have to get to that on the other side of this break. You want to weigh in on Perloff's multi-point presentation on why you said 2 more times, 3 more times. You said 2 more things, 3 more times.
Well, I was so proud of myself that I got to 10 that I just couldn't stop.
It was impressive. And now if they don't do it, man, what a disappointment.
They're going to do it. He's going to have a winning record there. Don't you feel like he's 10 wins at least, Maggie?
They're going to get the new coach bump. Totally. This is going to be like Doug Peterson after Urban Meyer. It was so bad in Jacksonville, and then Jacksonville spent like $500 million. But this is going to be even bigger than that.
That's a perfect analogy. They're Jacksonville on steroids.
Yeah.
Although I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Russell Wilson. Yeah, I get your point.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, Michael Lombardi, host of the Lombardi Line on VSiN, former general manager, makes sense of some of this quarterback craziness that's going on in the NFL. Don't move. Hey, by the way, we are streaming right now on youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Of course, we are across the country on our amazing CBS Sports Radio affiliates. We are also on SiriusXM, channel 158. We are also on the absolutely free Odyssey app, which you can download right now. A million places, all for you. Maggie and Perloff, don't move. We're back after this.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Oh.
remaining. Minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
NFL postseason, every Westwood One NFL broadcast streams live for free, all on the road to Super Bowl 57. Catch all the action on the Odyssey app on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One Station streams or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. All sponsored by AutoZone. Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Maggie, this Aaron Rodgers news isn't news. What you say on the golf course doesn't count.
Well, it does when there's like thousands of cameras around. It gets to the thoughts of one of our favorite guests, of course. Michael Lombardi's hosted the Lombardi Line on VSiN. Of course, we're big fans of the GM Shuffle around here. Michael, thank you for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Maggie. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. All's good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're trying to make sense of this quarterback carousel, which is why we wanted to talk with you today. Because if you are the front office of the Green Bay Packers, we're joking around about Aaron Rodgers. Are you trading Aaron Rodgers this offseason?
I'm not, but, I'm not sure that it's not headed for a divorce. I mean, it seems that way when you read it, right? It seems like they're kind of like they want to part. I think the issue really for me is what is Rodgers' mindset? Is he playing a year? Does he want to play 3 more years? Because to me, that factors into the trade compensation if you trade him. Like if I were a team like, let's say, the New York Jets, and Joe Douglas calls Brian Gutekunst and says, look, we're interested, but I got to have some assurances that he's going to play 3 years, because if I'm going to pay what you're asking me for, I'm not renting him for a year. I think that's the sticking point.
Now, Mike, how does it actually technically work? I've read that it almost has to be after June 1st to make the money work for Aaron Rodgers. So doesn't that limit his time to learn a new team and a new offense anyway?
Well, but you could post the trade if they waited till June 1, but you could post that trade. But look, the way the thing is obviously he's a smart player, and he could certainly learn it, and he could certainly get experience, and he'd have minicamp and all those things. But the reality of it is there's really, what's he missing? The OTA days, 10 days of OTAs and a minicamp, which he's going to have the minicamp anyway. And if you trade it for Aaron Rodgers, you can make all your OTA days in June if you get him. So he's not missing anything.
Very interesting.
You don't have to do the OTAs in May. You can do them all in June. You could do, for the 2 weeks in June, you could do OTAs and do all that at one time.
How would Aaron Rodgers be in a Josh McDaniels offense, for example?
How would he do that?
Are they? I don't really. You obviously know the X's and O's so much more. Is that a huge adjustment to go from what he's had in Green Bay to say Josh McDaniels or a new system in New York?
It would be an adjustment they would have to modify. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as you could see from Brady. Let's just take Brady in Tampa. Brady was trained one way how to play the position in the New England system. When he went down to Tampa and it started out, it wasn't the right thing, and then And then it became a problem, and then eventually they kind of worked it around it. But this year it became a real issue, the way they kind of work the game plan, do all the details, all that. And it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, right? So it was hard for Brady. It'd be hard for Rodgers to leave that system that he's used to and kind of go somewhere else, you know, where he's had such freedom at the line. Not that Brady wouldn't in Josh McDaniels' system. It's just a whole different set of playing. And at what point in your career do you really want to do that? You know, when LaFleur first went to Green Bay, you know, Rodgers hates turning his back on the formation, on the defense, right? He's not a big believer in, hey, I'm going to fake the outside zone, turn my back, and set up behind the backup tackle. You know, that's not something he's real comfortable doing. It's just a preference. So you kind of have to work around a lot of that stuff. So it's just, look, quarterbacks are not like third basemen. You know, third basemen, they can play in any team. Quarterbacks have to be in the right system that fits their skill set, no matter how talented they are.
Michael Lombardi is joining us. He's the host of the Lombardi Line on VSiN. Well, Packers aren't the only team that has some questions at quarterback. A lot of teams do. The 49ers are another one. Michael, if Brock Purdy is not going to be available for 6 months, I mean, you're talking baseball analogies. We're all familiar with Tommy John. That rarely ever goes as a straightforward recovery. I mean, what are the 49ers' options at quarterback?
You know, I think it's certainly, look, they went to the Final Four they went to the Final Four with a rookie, 7th round pick. And one thing Kyle, I think, does a great job of is understanding what his system needs. You know, accuracy, smarts, guy who played a lot of games. You know, so I would think they have to. Let's just say Brock Purdy has to have Tommy John surgery, which we've all seen out there. There's some people that think he needs that. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's some. You know, then he's out for a year. There's no way you can go into the season next year with Trey Lance as your only quarterback. There's just no way. I don't care how many Trey Lance enthusiasts there are in this country and how many people think, you know, there are some people that thought he should be a candidate for MVP this year, you know, and bet that number. I thought that was ridiculous. But the reality here is they'd have to go get somebody that Kyle fits. Now, remember, we all talk about this all the time. Kyle, before Garoppolo and after Garoppolo, we used to talk about he only wins with Garoppolo. But now he's won with Purdy, right? He didn't win with Kirk Beathard. He didn't win with Nick Mullins. He didn't win with other Brian Hoyer. But he has won with him. You know, I mean, maybe they finally get a Kirk Cousins reunion. Maybe Minnesota decides that they need to get some cap room and trade Kirk Cousins to San Francisco. I'm throwing that out there. But I think they have to be in the market for somebody other than Lance.
Kyle Shanahan got an interesting question at his closing press conference yesterday. If he feels at all responsible for so many quarterbacks getting hurt, is there something systematic in San Francisco that's putting their quarterbacks at risk, or is it just a string of bad luck?
Well, I mean, look, the play he gets hurt on, right? You know, they're in a 70 protection, which means the tight end blocks the guy at the end of the line. The Eagles were playing a 5-down defensive line look, so they covered up the guards. They had another defensive end on one side, and they had Riddick, who they're calling the Sam backer, but he's really a down lineman, right? So they had the tight end in the protection. And if Purdy steps up in the pocket, this is what we call the vertical set in the pocket. This is where quarterbacks really test their courage. They test their awareness, right? And this isn't a lack of courage on Purdy's part, but you have to have pocket awareness. You know the edge is coming around. And if you step and work and climb the pocket, which we talk about in the league all the time, you got to climb the pocket. If you climb the pocket, he gets that throw off. But he kind of thought it was blocked. You got to be able to feel it out of your eye. And he got hit. And so, look, I don't know how anybody can accuse Kyle's offense of hurting the quarterback more when we just witnessed a league where 70 different players played quarterback.
I know.
It's the most of the NFL. So was it Kyle's fault for all 70 getting hurt? Like, I don't understand it. Like, the quarterbacks the game's hard. It's hard too. Nobody says anything about Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor lets Joe Burrow get the crap beat out of him every week. I mean, they're in 5-0 protection all the time, and he's got to get rid of the ball. Like, at some point, you know, you're sitting on your couch saying, hey, Zach, how about blocking? How about helping this guy? Your right tackle can't block anybody. But they keep doing it.
Michael Lombardi is our guest. He's the host of the Lombardi Line on VSiN, and we're big fans of the GM Shuffle podcast as well. And I heard something, Michael, you said, I only got to listen to a little bit before the show, which is about you thought that Tom Brady was either going to play in Florida or not play at all because of his family and, he didn't want to be too far away from them. And, Miami was a possibility. We know the Dolphins got docked a first-round pick because they tampered with Brady. Are you fully closing the door on Brady in Miami? Because to me, going into the season with Tua having suffered the concussions that he did this offseason feels like a really risky move.
I think it really is. I mean, but there's so many Tua fans out there and enthusiasts. And Miami is so obsessed with proving they did the right thing and not picking Herbert and picking Tua that they're just blinded to anything. Tua's going to have a hard time staying healthy. There's a great line by Buddy Ryan. There's a place in football for the little man. It's just not in front of the big man. And that happens. This Bryce Young conversation, and he's going to be the first pick, and people are going to trade the King's ransom to get him. He's 189 pounds soaking wet. We just watched 70 quarterbacks play at the quarterback position. It's hard to stay healthy at 189 pounds. I missed the memo that Doug Flutie was back in vogue at the position. I didn't get that memo. I don't understand it. I know we got 1,000 draft picks out there that people are telling you, but at some point when you have a little quarterback and that doesn't move and doesn't work the pocket, Drew Brees did. It's hard, but remember, Drew Brees, the reason he's not a Miami Dolphin is because his shoulder was destroyed and they had to repair it. There was a lot of people who didn't think he was ever going to play football again.
All right, Mike, so does this retirement stick for Tom Brady? Does he get a call later in the offseason or next season and get tempted?
I think so. I really do. I think so. I think to me, he's done. And I think, what I said today on the show, and I said this on the podcast, his arm strength didn't get him. His athleticism didn't get him. His courage didn't get him. His other body parts didn't break down. What got him was his love of being a father. And as a father in a divorce, as a single father now, he's got to devote time to his children, which is an admirable thing to do. He's played a lot of football. I think he just basically has to get his life back in order again in terms of his family life and connect as he kind of navigates the terrain here before he even jumps into the TV booth and starts doing games.
Michael, last one from me, and my esteemed colleague here to my left, Andrew Perloff, before you came on, laid out like a 10-point plan for why Sean Payton is like a slam dunk in Denver. We're going to see an immediate boost. He's gonna be excellent. They're playoff bound. Yeah, the playoff bound rather. It was really something. It was like we should have had a PowerPoint in here and turn down the lights. What do you think about Sean Payton and the immediate impact?
Well, I think he'll have one. I mean, look, he's an outstanding coach. He's got a lot of, and his success, spending time with Parcells really has helped Sean as a coach. Understand how to coach, how to be the head coach of the team, how to be the CEO of the team, how to run it from a three-dimensional standpoint, how it's not subcontracting. So I think there's no doubt that he'll make them. They're not a team devoid of talent. They'll be synthesized, and they will work with alignment in all three phases. Now, whether he can save and salvage Russell Wilson, I don't know. Will he make him look a little bit better? I think Russell's going to have to change how he plays. Russ can't – he's not the chef here. Sean is. Russ ain't cooking. Russ working in the line. And so I think that's going to go. But, look, they traded Bradley Chubb for Sean Payton. You'd make that trade every day.
Absolutely. You're right. I didn't think it was too much to give up. It's basically a late first-round pick and a second. We didn't think the compensation for that was overwhelming. I think in maybe some ways New Orleans got fleeced on this one.
Well, I mean, they got the 2 next year to 24, but they get a 3 in 24 too, so they flopped. They moved picks around. Look, here's the reality that we all have to understand. This is where we make a mistake in sports. You can never overpay for a great coach. You just look at the coaches that won. Gruden, even though the Bucks overpaid, he didn't last very long. They won a Super Bowl, so they got something out of that deal. But certainly New England didn't overpay for Belichick or the Jets for Parcells or any of that. So I think when you pay for good, here's the reality. It happens in sports. When you overpay for good, it kills you. You never overpay for great.
There you go.
Love it. Thank you, Mike.
Can't tell you how much we appreciate this. Michael Lombardi is the host of the Lombardi Line on VSiN and, of course, the GM Shuffle as well. Thank you, Michael. Hope to see you in Phoenix.
Thank you.
Okay.
There you go.
Michael Lombardi.
I feel better about my Sean Payton take now.
He's right there with you.
Can't overpay for greatness, and that's true. But coaching is such a huge thing. I mean, that's why Bill Belichick probably gets oodles of money from the Patriots over the years.
Yeah.
Belichick is worth more draft picks because he turns your third-round pick into a quality player. So, in a way, the coach is like a draft weapon in himself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for certain guys like him and maybe guys like Peyton who are really involved in the draft.
I think Kyle Shanahan's offense helps guys develop. I think, Andy Reid is certainly a guy who helps quarterbacks. There's no doubt about it. Sorry, I know Patrick Mahomes is the new GOAT, but Andy Reid certainly plays a role in that.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, something that really made us scratch our head. And we will play the Aaron Rodgers sound from Pebble Beach for you in just a minute. Him responding to questions about his future. So we'll get to that. Time for a CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
Well, the Colts have interviewed many coaching candidates and are struggling to make a decision. According to reports, they're close to completing a second round. After talking with Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, they're also set to talk with Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen, but they are considering going to a third round with a select group of people. The Eagles will wear their green jerseys for Super Bowl 57, while the Chiefs will be dressed in white. The Bucs are currently chasing the Celtics in the East, and 2.5 games back. They'll host the Clippers tonight. Milwaukee has won 5 in a row, and like most teams, they've dealt with injuries. Bobby Portis, the latest setback, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is healthy and said everyone has to pick up their game a little.
Obviously, when he's in there, defensively, we're way better, and especially when you have to rebound the ball, we're way better. But now we just got to do what we got to do. Bobby's going to be back soon with us, and everybody got to come back and help.
The Heat are 6th in the East, holding a 2-game lead over the Knicks for the final guaranteed playoff berth in the East. And those two will meet at Madison Square Garden tonight. They'll meet a total of 4 times this year. And the West leading Nuggets welcome the defending champion Warriors to Denver. Golden State coming off an overtime loss last night in Minnesota. I'm Rich Ackerman.
It's Bill Ryder. CBS Sports Radio has moved to Sirius XM channel 158. Or listen to us on your local affiliate. Find your station at Odyssey.com/stations. CBS Sports Radio.
'You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, Maggie. Aaron Rodgers, never dull, is out at Pebble Beach, a tournament that I used to go to every year.
Yeah.
It was my favorite week of the year. I beat Jim Nantz in his own backyard, which was amazing.
Best. What a story.
Now, Aaron Rodgers is there, which we've heard all week him talking about Pebble Beach, but now is it possible we have some real news coming out of Aaron Rodgers' golf appearance?
I mean, you guys can be the judge of it yourselves. Here's Aaron Rodgers stepping up to one of the tees, and you're going to hear the public address announcer talk directly to Rodgers.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Cole.
Got any news you want to share with us?
Not going to San Fran.
You look great with a Cowboy star on your helmet.
Cowboy fans are everywhere. That's Colt Knost, as a former PGA golfer, CBS Sports golf analyst, said not going to San Francisco. That's just kind of out of left field, right?
There must be more to this, and especially if Cole is a Cowboys fan, why would Aaron say that? He didn't say, well, I'll tell you one thing, Cole, I'm not going to end up in Jacksonville or something. I mean, why did he pull that out of the hat? Is there more to it?
I don't know. I mean, we've heard a little bit that if the Green Bay Packers were going to trade Rodgers, it was going to be to an AFC team. They were not going to trade him inside the conference. Maybe
Aaron wants to go to San Francisco, and the Packers said we're not trading him in conference. Maybe that's what Aaron's referring to.
Maybe he want to go there. He's from near there, so is that a little logical that you'd want to go play closer to home? I have no idea, but
well, he went to Cal. He's from Fresno. Isn't he from Fresno? So,
no, he's from.
Oh, he's from up north. You're right.
Yeah, not Fresno. He's I don't know where. It's escaping me right now. Chico, California.
I don't know if you remember this, but he was furious on draft day when the 49ers passed on him and went with Alex Smith instead. And he even said something like they're going to eat their words, or like they're going to regret this mistake, which I'm sure they did.
Obviously.
Maybe there's like something stewing for the past 15 years, and Aaron Rodgers was like, I hate the 49ers. I would never play for them.
Well, we always thought there was, a theory that he always held it against Mike McCarthy, because McCarthy was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers at the time, passed on him for Alex Smith. And, guys like Rodgers, Brady, these are Michael Jordan. These guys have long memories, hold grudges, use it as fuel.
Michael Jordan holds grudges?
Yeah, wild, right?
I mean, he invited a high school coach that cut him from the varsity team to his Hall of Fame speech.
Wouldn't his quote have made a lot more sense if he was addressing a 49ers fan? Say it was like Paul Rudd of the Chiefs. This makes no sense to me why he said this to this guy, as if that guy was expecting him to weigh in on San Francisco.
It's like, it feels like it was an inside joke or something that none of us are in on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't get it, but maybe we can take this as 49ers are out. I didn't think the 49ers were in, but now they're out.
By the way, so we play Lake and Bake for the LeBron James is about to pass Kareem's record, and we don't do the WTF Aaron Rodgers for this?
We're slipping. We're slipping.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic Aaron Rodgers offseason, throwing out little lines here and there to stay at the top of the news cycle.
All right, we'll give
this
it to
is
you.
what Aaron Rodgers does.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Yeah.
Feels so much better now.
He's on hole 5, killing rumors.
Yep, Aaron Rodgers today. No more San Fran. Didn't know they were in it, but they're out.
Yeah, it's funny. We've talked a lot about Aaron Rodgers' future. We've talked a lot about the Niners' quarterback position. We haven't put them together, but you have a great point that probably the Packers would not want to trade him there.
I don't think so. We also have another report coming from Pro Football Network.
Yes? Yeah, PFN.
PFN saying from Tony Pauline saying that Joe Douglas has made it known in league circles that he is going to move heaven and earth to get Aaron Rodgers. And he better, because he whiffed so bad on Zach Wilson that he's got to do something to try to make this right. And I imagine, as Sampler knows, because he's a big Jets fan, I would describe Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, as someone who is involved, meddles even. And he was away because he was the ambassador to the UK when Trump was president. But now he's back, and I think this is a directive like, you've got to get me a star.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You know what happens when the owners start making directives.
I thought we were headed for a little WFAN New York Maggie. And you know how New York audiences will be. Yeah, I wonder if I'm getting back to that Aaron Rodgers, will he fit in New York thing? I think he'll be fine. But come on. I can make that report that Joe Douglas is all in on Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Of course he is, right?
You better be. I mean, or else what are you doing?
No-brainer. Who's their quarterback? Who starts at quarterback next year?
I have no idea.
I mean, they have to have somebody under center, right?
They brought Nathaniel Hackett in as the offensive coordinator. I mean, clearly they're making a play.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't end up like Denver where they get the wrong fit.
Well, if we know anything about the Jets, I'm sure.
I mean, they might still have Mike White. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, his ribs will heal. Well, his ribs will heal, pardon me.
Yeah, I could go with Mike White if I had to.
How about Joe Douglas calling his old Baltimore Ravens friends and getting
Tyler
Lamar Jackson?
I'm all about that. Pro Bowler.
Snoop Huntley would be a major upgrade.
No.
Dude, I would be a major upgrade.
Over Zach Wilson? Definitely.
I mean, not over Mike White, though. They're basically the same, aren't they? Maybe Mike White's a little better. Huntley's not.
Different.
Huntley's been a bit of a letdown. Come on, by the way, separate. Lamar Jackson and the Jets, I thought everybody was dying to get Lamar Jackson.
Oh, I would love him. Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers, I hate him, but I would take Aaron Rodgers in a heartbeat. But Lamar Jackson.
Who would you rather have of those two?
Lamar Jackson, I've got for 6 or 7 years. Man,
doesn't stay healthy though.
I mean, outside of this year, he's been pretty healthy.
And last year. Well, I guess he was sick last year, right?
He
missed
more
a lot of games.
And he's missed a game here or there, but so was Rodgers. Rodgers missed a ton of time.
Has he?
Well,
he's pretty durable.
Not lately.
No, maybe not the last 3 years.
He
but
broke
like
his
over his
collarbone
career.
a couple years ago.
Yeah, but over his career, he has.
I mean, let's face it. This is the Jets' choices are both pretty good for the Jets.
Oh my gosh, yeah, either one. Derek Carr too. Even if he can't play in the bad weather, who cares? David is in Michigan, wants to weigh in on Aaron Rodgers. What's up, David? How are you?
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you perfect.
All right, wonderful. Aaron Rodgers, does he really belong anywhere other than Green Bay? Really?
I think we're about to find out.
Everything about him, yeah, we're going to find out. He's either going to be in Green Bay or retiring. What is he going to do? Is he going to – the idea of going to the Jets, seriously, is he going to follow in Brett Favre's footsteps?
Well, work for Favre. Favre made an NFC title game in Minnesota. Tom Brady made the Super Bowl.
I get that, but I mean, literally, he despised being behind Brett Favre.
And he's already morphed into pure Brett Favre. He's already been Favring it up all over the place.
Oh, jeez.
And that's the one thing that he has control of right now is to not do it. To not do it. He's not going to the Jets.
Hold on, though, David. Is that a little cut off your...
retire.
Well, first, I don't know if he'll retire the same year that Brady will, but the other thing is that a little cut off your nose to spite your face, right? Nobody is left from the Favre era. Is that true? Woody Johnson, obviously, the owner is. I don't know if any executives are left from there. There might be a few. But anyway, it's a totally different team, totally different circumstance. If this team is kind of like ready to win, don't you think Rodgers shouldn't cut himself off from the Jets just because Favre went there?
No, I think it would be a great fit.
Oh, okay, you do.
I think it'd be a great fit, but look at his attitude. Like, look at Aaron Rodgers for what he is. Like, there's nothing ever comes out of his mouth. He never says anything for anybody. Nobody has nothing to work with. It's all this. Just keep talking about me. It's not. I'm not saying that's his intention, but good Lord. It just works out that way. Everything he says is just, keep him thinking, keep him wondering, it's so boring every year. I am so proud of Tom Brady, possibly at the beginning of next season. I can't say anything yet.
Yeah.
If he stays retired. All right. Well, David, you're just sick of it, right? I get it.
It's not even just sick of it. Like Tom Brady, at least we have something to go by. He's done a ton of stuff. He's graced the NFL with that's going to be a story they're talking about 25 years from now, 50 years from now, Tom Brady. But Aaron Rodgers, oh, my goodness, he's got one Super Bowl. He is an unbelievable quarterback, but he's like the past 4 or 5 years, he's turned into something that nobody wants to know about. Like, it's just so boring.
Man, David coming in strong with the takes.
By the way,
I disagree. Yeah. I think that Rodgers, even though he only won one Super Bowl, I think his greatness as a quarterback is going to live on for quite a while.
Oh yeah, I kind of think he is following a Favre trajectory, and the Jets have nothing to do with it. Is Aaron Rodgers want to avoid being a flip flop between retirement and playing, and does he care about going to another team and breaking off his ties to Green Bay? And I think he's absolutely like Favre. I think he has no loyalty to the Packers right now, and I think he doesn't know what he's talking about with retirement. I think he's going to fake retire 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, buckle up, David. We haven't seen nothing yet. I think the other part, too, is Michael Lombardi had a good point, which is, am I trading for a year, though, of Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Because if so, then I don't know do I want to trade 2 first-round picks and I'm taking on $60 million? Like, how steep is this going to get here?
It'll be 1 first round and a second. That'll be fine.
But I don't know if they're looking for 2 first-round picks, maybe for a desperate team, and the $60 million that I'm just doing for 1 year.
They just had Davante Adams, arguably the best wide receiver in the game, away for 1 first-round pick.
No,
a 20-something pick.
I know, and then they paid him, but
and I would even argue Adams is more valuable because he's younger and has a future. Rodgers is a 1-year rental.
The only thing is you're going to a new-ish system. I know there's elements maybe of what Hackett does is what LaFleur does, but if you're going to a newish system, you're going for an all-in, win-now, 1-year situation, like if that's what we think it is, or do you think Rodgers is going to play for 3 more years?
I don't know, but it feels... No, I think it could be a 1 or 2 year thing for sure. And, I mean, obviously Rodgers knows Hackett's offense just as well as he knows LaFleur's. He probably likes Hackett's offense. Well, did Hackett come with LaFleur, or was Hackett there with McCarthy?
I thought that Hackett was there with McCarthy.
No, Hackett was definitely
there. He was there with LaFleur because he wasn't calling plays.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was there He was there 2 years ago.
That familiarity will be perfect. You're right. But it's still so nothing about a new system, new pieces.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they had to give 2 real first round. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But Tyreek Hill and Davante Adams go for 1 first rounder. I was surprised they were so easy to pry away. Why is Aaron Rodgers going to go for so much more? Because he's a quarterback?
Yeah.
What did Stafford go for? Jared Goff and how many first rounders?
Was that...
How's our research department looking over there?
Was it 1
Can we get
first rounder?
Before the end of the show.
2 first rounders for Stafford.
Well, okay, then maybe you're going to get 2 first rounders for Aaron Rodgers.
I think you are. By the way, did anyone notice when the TVs started blaring in here in the studio? No?
I don't think that picked up on our mics. I'm hoping.
Good. Okay. All of a sudden, the ghost that lives in the studio decided
creepy.
to just turn the TVs on full blast.
Yeah, that was Kendrick Perkins in my ear.
Yeah, it was a lot. I'm really glad you guys got spared that one. Okay, fun. Thank you to Michael Lombardi. Thank you to TJ Watt. Thank you to Mike Samter, Stu Kovacs. Thank you to the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers in the chat. We will see you tomorrow to close out the week strong. Have a good night, everyone.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.